forehead. That is fucking fire.
Welcome to Paris 47. The show is just about to start.
The show is just about to start, yeah. You're just in time for a chat is never taught it. I know it's rare to see we taking losses hardly. We back together now, it's hard for us to part, yeah. It's time to party. The show is just about to start, yeah. You're just in time for a chat is never taught it. I know it's rare to see we taking losses hardly. We back together now, it's hard for us to part, yeah. It's time to party, yeah.
This is the red carpet event of the season, and the guest list is a veritable who's who of the global fashion elite.
Yeah, that's me, baby, we dripping hard. Move so quietly, when I leave, they gon' give me 50 stars. No one in my league, no one other even hit the bar. They gon' get depressed, trying their best, people finna hit the bar. Community goated, when we leech, we leave an empty carcass. Our belly to pull, put you in the scope, we're limit any target. Always in go, going for the gold, shit really isn't far. For we got 3 days, but we coming back like it's been a year to party. Can I get
Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo! Welcome! I'm well rested, in case you're wondering. The sleep is gone from my eyes. No, I did not just wake up. In fact, I casted. What's my aura score? Dude, honestly, not good. Honestly, not good. Did you get a good sleep score? Not enough, but just enough to cast at least. Good to see you. Thank you for enjoying the cast. It was very fun. I am sad that I didn't get to compete, but what are you gonna do? It happens. I think Hera reached out to me. We may do a show match between me and Waga on Tuesday. I don't think I can cast the finals with Yamato, unfortunately. I don't think I can cast tomorrow. I am going to an event. I don't think I can do it. Catch up on the VOD. You would have lost to Grubby anyways? Oh, definitely. I definitely would have lost to Grubby. It would have been nice to show what I planned against Knopf. Just in case you're wondering if coming in late, I had to DQ this morning from the Age of Empires tournament because I stayed up till 4, honestly, like 4:50. Practicing new builds until I got the timing right. And then I don't sleep with a phone in the room, and I just fucking missed it. So I DQ'd, which is unfortunate, but I did cast afterwards, which is all good, and I honestly would have lost the Grubby anyway, so. We may do a show match on Tuesday. Is the new awesome setup, Nick? So no, honestly, yesterday my power went out. So Nick hasn't set up the camera yet. We just hung out. We watched the World Cup together. Sad you DQ'd, but at least the Hormuz Strait is open, but I'm not too sad. I have some horrible news for you. Oh, no. Oh, no. You were banking on Hormuz being open. But it's a double dip. Atrioc doesn't play and Hormuz is closed. Oh. I thought they said no more closing the toll. Who could have stopped that? Dude, it is crazy that, on this broadcast, also on Lemonade Stand, also everybody in the world has basically said, like, hey, Israel is going to bomb Lebanon to stop this peace deal from happening. And everyone's like, yeah, they're going to do that. And then they did that, and then the peace deal got stopped. It's like, okay, what the fuck can anyone do at this point? It's crazy. Dude, you literally have J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, people who have been the most pro-Israel in all of America, who are going out on public and saying, Vance's speech was crazy. Like, you've never seen that from an American leader, especially a Republican one. J.D. Vance came out and said, if I was in the Israeli government and I only had one ally left in the whole world, I certainly wouldn't fuck up their peace deal. That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, it's true. Honestly, J.D. Vance, everything he's saying in that statement is 100% true. It's crazy. Do you think JD will take the fall? I think that is the reason JD Vance is being so zesty about this. JD Vance is saying shit he probably wouldn't be encouraged to say, because JD Vance knows he is the fall guy for this. Like, he has been given these impossible negotiations, and he is set up to be the fall guy. He's the ghost, bro. Can we watch the statement? Sure, we can watch the statement. Let's watch JD Vance's statement. JD Vance statement. I think I've got it in my...
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Jordan.
Yeah, this is the video right here. Just this is such a crazy thing to have been said. If you're just joining right now, the peace deal with Iran is essentially off because Israel did exactly what everyone expected, and they continued to bomb Lebanon, which caused Iran to not fly to Switzerland, not sign their end of the deal, and Hormuz is now closed again with an indeterminate plan to even getting back on track. And this kind of like finally crossed like a line, I think, within this government, within the Trump administration, because you got Vance saying shit like this.
Conrad with the Gateway Pundit. I want to talk back to the Lebanon component of the deal. There's a report in Axios that Netanyahu's fuming over this. Israel doesn't feel bound to the MOU as it relates to Lebanon. If, as you mentioned, your frustration with Israel striking in Beirut, hitting apartment buildings, if that continues, could it torpedo the deal? And what would the U.S.'s response be to a broader war in Lebanon involving Israel and Hezbollah?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into hypotheticals that could torpedo the deal, because I think the president's expectation is that all...
By the way, it was a hypothetical when this speech was given. It's a literal now. It happened, and it did torpedo the deal. It happened like hours after this. I mean, not even like... It was immediately afterwards.
All of our friends, the Israelis, the Arabs in the region, we're going to work together and actually see this deal to completion. Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this...
A little bit stuttery. I do like the idea that that's not the BB I know. Oh, sweet BB. The BB I know. Like, he just simply wouldn't fume over an Iran war deal. He would love peace with Iran. Not BB, dude.
This does bother me, is that you have seen people within BB's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment.
Dude, he's right. First of all, that's true. That's true. They've burned every bridge. And so the fact that they are attacking Trump in Israel is like, bro, you don't have a lot of friends left.
Time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, BB, to his credit...
Dude, you guys thought I was exaggerating. You thought I was like reframing it. That's literally what he said. I was not exaggerating. He literally was like, dude, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't... That's crazy.
Has not gone down this path. But to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
Yeah, I mean, he's correct. He is correct. I don't know if he needed all that eyeliner to say it, but he's correct. It's wild what they're openly doing to torpedo this peace deal at any cost. It helped get the sass across. Yeah. And obviously, there's a reason he's sassy. Like I said, Vance is being set up as the fall guy. Trump has openly said it. I think Trump said it as a joke, but when he says something jokingly, he's always being serious. He just lets it out. I don't know if I have that clip. Maybe someone can find it to me. But there's a clip where Trump's like, yeah, I think if it goes wrong, we'll blame JD. And then he laughs. But like, that's the plan. Their plan is to, because he's the one in charge of the negotiation. He was given the impossible task. And so we'll see how that plays out. Did you see the interview where he said they can't kill their way out of every situation? I don't know if I saw that one, but yeah, that's at least Netanyahu's plan. Has been trying to do a pure military solution, and it's just run up against the wall of geography and drones. And rather than admit that it's been a total failure, he is trying to run not only his own country, but America's into the ground to keep this thing going forever and ever and ever. Afghanistan 2.0. Honestly, legitimately, it's insane. The war was insane, and I blame that on Trump because he's the one that said yes to the dumb PowerPoint. But at this point, he is trying to do anything to get out of it, including throwing money at Iran. And there's only one person trying to keep it going, and that's Netanyahu. Didn't Trump say something to the effect of, if it works, I'll take credit. If not, I'll blame JD. It's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. And he gave a chuckle at the end, so you know it's a joke, but it's like, that is what you'll do. It's exactly what you'll do. I feel like any future deals will be more worse than this most recent one. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go back and say, let's do the same deal. I don't know. I don't know. This is like an actual question. If we hypothetically bombed Israel with Iran, what would happen? Okay, that's insane. That's an insane question. Israel's nuclear armed. We're not going to go bomb. We're not going to switch sides mid-war. Never let your enemy know your next move. That's the dumbest idea I've heard. But we, like, the only way forward, if they truly want to get out of Iran, which it seems like Trump does, is they're going to have to, like, publicly split from Israel so that when they bomb Lebanon, because right now Iran sees it as the same thing. America and Israel, if one of them attacks, they see them as one unit. And they're like, well, then the peace deal's off. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, they're going to have to split. They're going to have to split to, like, even begin to negotiate or at least get out of it. And by the way, last thing I'll say on this, because I want to talk about Russia. So when the peace deal was announced and Trump made a big deal of it, it's finally here. The peace deal is here. Now that it's blown up. He admitted a lot of things he should not have admitted. Number one, he admitted we are 4 weeks from tank bottom. We're almost out of oil reserves. He said that openly. He's like, thank God we got this deal because we're almost out of oil reserves. So you're like the worst negotiator of all time because now the deal's blown up. It's like, well, now they know. Now they know if they just wait 4 fucking weeks, your negotiating position gets way, way worse. It's truly not the art of the deal. It's truly insanely stupid. And then he said another thing. He said, well, yeah, we're wait, I have the exact quote. Trump economic. He said, like, yeah, we're on the verge of economic bedlam. I don't know. Trump knew the word bedlam. Kind of +2 for Trump for knowing the deep cut vocabulary. But he's just openly admitting. It's crazy when the deal is not yet signed to be like, dude, thank God we're signing this deal because I am fucked. Yo, I am so appreciative you guys are signing this because I'll be honest with you, I'm out of cards. It's crazy. God, he's such a bad fucking president, bro. What is Netanyahu trying to accomplish by isolating Israel going to war with the Middle East? Let's see what stands to gain. What he stands to gain is they think this is their last shot to get rid of their biggest geopolitical rival, Iran, in the Middle East. They think if they don't do it now, it'll never happen. They needed regime change. Additionally, within Israel, I think his unpopularity is overstated, but certainly a colossal failure here is kind of like the end of his term running Israel, and he is facing like prison time and like corruption charges, and like he needs to be a wartime president ongoing. So there's a lot of like personal reasons for him, and certainly it is like his great idea and legacy is like we're gonna eliminate Iran, and that was the plan for Israel, and it's become a colossal failure. What's crazy is if you flash back to just before the war started, they've never been in a better position. All of Iran's proxies have been destroyed or defunded. Iran was in the worst position they've ever been. They were having mass revolt and protest, surging inflation. The regime had never been weaker. They had like a super old, decrepit Ayatollah. And then they forced the issue with this horrendously stupid war. And instead it gave the Iranian regime a ton of power. Like literally, Netanyahu is the best thing to happen to the Iranian regime, which is crazy when you think about it. Yeah, it's just crazy. So many countries get one guide by dumb 70-year-old leaders, warmongering leaders. Putin, same thing in Russia, which we'll talk about. The whole situation feels like a boomer's like, fuck you. No, the last one will be, because look, we've got Trump, 79, 80 years old, invading Iran. We got how old is Netanyahu? How old is Netanyahu? 76. We got Netanyahu, warmongering 76. We have Putin, also 79, warmongering Ukraine. Final one is going to be Xi Jinping in Taiwan. He's also that old. And we're going to have all the fucking boomers of the world just cause chaos and war before they go out. That's the fucking plan, bro. Just the boomers' last hurrah. Just get 40 years of good times and then blow it all up on the way out the door. Isn't Trump older than Boomer? No, Trump is exactly a boomer. It's a little stat I used on Lemonade Stand, but in case you don't know, George W. Bush, the president when I was young, was born in 1946, 1 year after World War II. Bill Clinton, president before that, was born in 1946, 1 year out of World War II. Donald J. Trump was born 1946, 1 year after World War II. Every president of my life except for Obama has been born in the exact same year. We've been ruled by the same boomers my entire life. And Biden was 1944, so he's older. I'm sorry. Sorry. Biden's the exception because he's even older. I'm sorry. You're correct. And by the way, Obama is younger, but he's still a boomer. It's just been all boomers. It's been an unbroken string of boomers for 30 years. It's crazy. They have not let the torch pass to Gen X or, God forbid, a millennial. It's been boomers, boomers into boomers into boomers, and they keep getting older and older and older. Insane boomer streak. But Big A, my dad put a bunch of money into SpaceX, and he doesn't want to hear anything about selling. How cooked am I? Nobody knows, bro. But if he's a long-term hodler, I'd say the odds are against him. I truly believe that. I think once the lockup expires, the stock's going to feel some real selling pressure. But how are you cooked? I don't know. It's his money. And by the way, nobody knows. But betting for or against Elon is simultaneously both stupid, honestly. Your money being in and around Elon is usually a bad idea. Okay? It's like nothing is good risk adjusted. Nothing. There's better opportunities out there in the world. Everybody thinks they're the one who pull the rug. I mean, there's already people. Here's the thing. If your father owns shares, at the very least, SpaceX will always be worth something and likely worth a lot more than its real value because of the Elon bonus. But if you're one of the people that bought call options, which are short-term bets on the stock moving up, dude, this last week, this Friday or Thursday, was the single most short-term call options ever bought in stock market history. And almost all of them were retail buying it on SpaceX, and the stock is down from then. So almost all of them lost money. Like you saw on Wall Street Bets, tons of people being like, are my bags going to be okay on Monday? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just, I wouldn't short it, but I would not bet on it, bro. It's just such a volatile, stupid stock. I just sold all my Micron, netting 150% to diversify. Do you think it's a bad call? No, if you ask me, it's an amazing call. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell, bro. You're never going to feel bad about making 150%. You're going to feel awful if that comes back down and you didn't cash out and 100%, bro. Going to feel awful if it goes 10% more? No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. If it does, you have a certain level of greed. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you feel like that, then you're one of the people that's like, you see a lottery winner, you're like, oh, this should have been me. If only I picked that number. It's like, bro, if every time you see someone else make a little bit more than you and it makes you fucking stressed, you're not going to make it, bro. You have to know when to like, hey, I've made serious profit here. I'm going to cash out and take it. I made all my money selling too early. Yeah, 100%. There's, I mean, a lot of great investors will tell you that knowing how to trim some winners is like a great. And you have to sell all of it either. If you love Micron, you could cash out the initial amount that you invested, so it's all pure profit from there. There's a lot of ways you could do it to where you're not like still panic checking it all the time. Atrioc, I broke the matrix by getting a second mortgage on my home to bet it on the Spurs. How did you break the matrix if the Spurs lost? Aren't you, in fact, entrenched even more in the matrix? Aren't you? Didn't you just plug yourself in deeper? How is everybody spamming W? It's because outside of the matrix, they win. Oh, you didn't break the matrix. You're broke in the matrix. I see. He bought put options on the Spurs. You actually can do that now, right? That's how degenerate sports gambling has gotten. You can buy like short-term put contracts and shit. Yeah, I'm talking about this today. I'm doing a Russia presentation here relatively soon. Not a super long one, but like I want to update on what just happened in Moscow, which is crazy. Moscow and Crimea. But I'm just talking about some stock stuff. Have you seen Mecha Chameleon? Yeah, I watched a little bit of Stans playing it. It looks really cool. And I got to say, the amount of money they've made is crazy. They sold 5 million copies. Friendslop is not just back, it never left. People love it. People are desperate for it. I heard it was more than 2 months of dead. Maybe I'm wrong. I heard it was like 6 months or 6 months, 7 months. But listen, you make a good game that gives people fun times with friends, they'll pay $6 for it. What a brilliant idea. It's like people getting so shocked about Obsession making a lot of money. It's like, oh, an original, interesting horror movie with good acting. It does well. Oh, fucking crazy. Yeah, like a fun game. People have a good time. Best way to sell a game is to require someone who wants to play it to sell it to their friends. Well, it's feast or famine, right? Because if you make a friend slop game and it doesn't catch on, you get 0 sales. You get no money at all. Like a single player game, you could make some money because there's always going to be some audience if it's decent. But like if it doesn't hit with streamers or whatever, your friend slop game is dead in the water because nobody will play if nobody else plays. It's just all in. If the game was $10, it would have never sold. I will say charging $6 is really smart. Yeah, if they try to charge more, They would have made a lot less, ironically. He's back to the OG schedule. No, I'm only back to the OG schedule because I had to cast Age of Empires today, which was a fire tournament. Big shout out to Pig, honestly. If anybody watched that tournament, Pig is insane. Pig is my favorite for the winning the whole damn thing. How'd I do? I got DQ'd. I played poorly. I was defeated so quickly you could blink and miss it. Even over Grubby? Pig beat Grubby! Dude, legitimately, if you would have told me that Grubby would lose to anyone, I would have said, I would have bet against you. Let alone, but maybe you Thermal. But to beat Grubby is crazy. It's like a 300 elo point difference. It was an awesome series. I was so impressed. So, I'm stoked. Captain Lance looks good too. Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have bet dollars to donuts that it would be you Thermal versus Grubby in the finals or the winners finals, and they both got knocked to losers. Oinker, you should do a quarterly ad recap video where viewers can send in the best, world's funniest ads and reacts to them. It's not a terrible idea, but I got to be honest with you. I just feel like advertisements have changed to where TV ads almost don't matter. They're just made for a declining subset of boomers. People aren't watching full-length commercials anymore. They don't really exist. Advertising nowadays is influencers and social media ads. That's what companies spend on. And those are like short and, I don't know, just not nearly what I like to review. So I just think, I think the whole industry of marketing has changed quite a bit. It's still interesting. If I was a young hustler marketer right now, I would be learning everything I fucking could about how to sell on social media and how to like work on that. But I just, it's like not that much fun to review. The only ads that work on me are the ones the Yard does. I will say the Yard has funny ads. And they get to charge more to advertisers because of it. It's crazy that they talk about like killing dogs and like selling drugs in their ads, and it let them charge more. Like they don't read the ad copy, they make fun of the product, and they get more money because people don't skip it. It's an irony. It's really impressive. Lemonade stands similar, and that's where yeah, we have good retention on our ads. TurboTax notwithstanding. But we don't talk about killing dogs as much. We have to hide that part of Aiden. I think I skip every lemonade stand. I'm sorry. It doesn't bother me, bro. Doesn't bother me. Yeah, I fast forward on most things I watch too. You should incorporate ads into Nordic Fact of the Week for max retention. I can't tell if people are so on Lemonade Stand. If you're a viewer, if you're not a viewer, we have a segment called Nordic Fun Fact of the Week, and that's because every fucking week since we started the show, Aiden would be like, "I brought some news this week," and it would be some dumb fact about the Nordics. It would be like fucking Sweden changed their mail-in policy on tax returns or what. It would be just something like incredibly asinine. And so we made it a segment because it's kind of funny that he did that. And now I think people are like, I thought they were ironically loving it, but now they just love it. Now everyone's like, I love the Nordic Fun Fact of the Week. I want more. So it's like, it's a W. We turned it around. Bro. And now you have people from the Nordics being like, this is my greatest news source. So, I don't know. It's fun, dude. It's fun. It's a fun segment. But it's just funny because that is so Aiden. He does it in real life. If you ask Aiden to talk about something just in the world, he'll talk about two things. Either something happening in Norway or Counter-Strike. Those are like his topics. I'm sorry, something happening in the Nordics, not usually Sweden. Or Tucker Carlson, his best friend. Those are the other options. Thank you for the subs. Sean Part 2, thank you for the sub. Lexeroid, thank you for the prime. Fiskman Guy, thank you for the prime. Stormy QJ, thank you for the 36 months. Walmart is using AI to track spills and items on the ground for safety, and it's very wrong a lot. Dude, building a massive AI tracking system so you can be like, there's a spill right there is so funny. It's like, bro, come on. That wasn't that hard, was it? Clean up in aisle 3 was so hard. We needed a robot for that. How do we ever do that with AI? Yeah, good question. Good fucking question. What else happened outside of Russia? Just before I get to Russia, is there any other major topics? I think I talked about the insane Mara Israel breakdown. I talked about that, covered that. It was truly crazy. Oh, all right. So we'll do a clip on this on Monday if it happens. But apparently, this is just a stream exclusive if you're here. Apparently, Keir Starmer is resigning. The Prime Minister of the UK is joining a long history, a storied tradition of resignations. And he's fucking out. Apparently on Monday, he's going to announce his resignation. He outlasted the head of lettuce, but my God, it just continues. The country cannot hold a leader for very long at all. How many PMs is that? Dude, let's count. How many PMs? Can I get like a list? Let's see. All right. We had Theresa May into Boris Johnson into Elizabeth Truss into Rishi Sunak into Keir Starmer. So like, like 5 and 5 years, something like that. 5 and 6 years. They basically last about a year, a little over a year on average. That's crazy. 6 and 7 years? Holy shit. Holy shit. The UK is actually funny. How long are they meant to last? That's a great question. There's no limit. They remain in power as long as their party has a majority. But they have an election every 5 years. So that's crazy. Because if you wanted to, you could always last at least 5 years. But they don't make it more than one. They're all so unpopular, they fucking step down. That is crazy, bro. And what's funny is it's different parties. It's, it's the Tories and Labor. So ostensibly they should be less, one of them should be less hated, but they're both hated. Justin Trudeau lasted 10 years under similar rules. Yeah. And even he had to step down by the end. There is one woman you can unite them. Who? Who is the one woman that can unite the British? Katy Perry? Oh, you think bring back Liz Truss? Give her one more shot to beat the lettuce. I don't know. I'll tell you, there's one woman who's not going to be able to do it. I was reading the FT this morning after I was super well rested. And one of the most read articles was an opinion piece by this woman. I don't know how she got it published in the FT. Just talking about how Harry Potter has ruined Britain. She wrote a whole fucking Financial Times opinion piece just about how Harry Potter sucks and it ruined Britain and she hates tourists that like it. It's insane. Who cares? What are you talking? That's certainly not the problem at the heart of Britain's failures. How did this get past review? I've never seen something so asinine. Who cares? It's just one woman complaining about Harry Potter tourists. You sound personally invested. I'm just saying, she seems like a Slytherin. Okay? I'm getting real Slytherin vibes from this spoil sport. No, I just thought it was crazy. I just thought it was a crazy fucking thing to write. Like, who the fuck cares? In this, like, Britain is in such a bad time. Bro, I love this photo. I've never seen someone look so fucking cooked, bro. I love this photo. How can you... You look faded, bro. You're like, what? That's resignation material, bro. That's for sure. Same as the print. I mean, every UK politician has this photo when they're on their downfall, but my God. And the fucking triple chin don't help neither. Yeah, anyway, he's probably resigning on Monday, is what it seems like. I guess anything could happen. Certainly hearsay, but I'm hearing it through. But the betting markets have him out. So I'll probably do a clip on Monday if he steps down. We'll cover his notorious tenure. Wait, I want to include this in my presentation. This is crazy. Jesus Christ. I can't believe he said this. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, post this. Okay. Wait, anything else? Anything else? I heard Spiffing Brit Perfect King Juke. I watched that live. It was hilarious. Thoughts on U.S. government shutting down Anthropic's Mythos model? Yeah, my thoughts on this are kind of nuanced. Guy with nuanced thoughts, letting you know. Nuanced thought guy is gonna. It's that okay. The very very obvious take. This is the very most. I think I even have a slide. I didn't make a press on this, but I think I have a slide. Let me show it to you. This is the day one take that I'm sure most people have. Where did I bury it? I've got it somewhere. Give me it. Oh, here it is. This one. It's going to show up. This one. Okay, the day one take is that Dario Amodei of Anthropic spent a long time saying, holy shit, the new Mythos model is so dangerous. Governments need to regulate it. And then it gets regulated, and now it's like, this is what you asked for, idiot. On some level, that's true. On some level, that's true. And I understand that. And I do agree that he really hyped it up. But the problem is, when you look under the hood of this, it's so obvious that the only reason they did it is because it's Anthropic. They wouldn't have done this if it was Grok. They wouldn't have done this if it was Sam Altman. They only did it because of him. The Pentagon and the White House wants to punish Claude for not doing the Pentagon deal. And if you look at what actually happened, it's basically like this new Mythos model, aka Fable, which is the one we made the Dan Clancy game. It's supposedly really good at finding cybersecurity vulnerabilities. It's like it's very good at finding flaws in the code that you can use to exploit if you're a hacker. And the public version, Fable, is supposed to have that blocked. If you try to ask it about hacking or about cybersecurity or anything, it's supposed to like automatically deny your request. And they found out that if you give it bad code and say, please fix this code, it will fix vulnerabilities and make it hard to hack. It's not really a terrible thing, but that's the case. The American government counts that as an exploit. They say that's an exploit. This fix this code thing is not allowed. And apparently Amazon is the one that warned the government about it. So Howard fucking Lutnick gave Anthropic like an hour and a half to remove it for every non-American in the world, or the company's banned. So it's like the way they handled it was insanely focused on just Anthropic and insanely like not detailed on what the actual flaw was. Anthropic has made the case successfully, I think, that like this exploit isn't really an exploit, and you can do that on ChatGPT 5.5 and all the other competitors. For some reason, they're just punishing Claude. So I thought it was SK Telecom, not Amazon. No, it was Amazon. Amazon is the one that called the government and said there was an exploit. So they're only restricting Anthropic. They're restricting nobody else. And obviously there's second order effects, right? Like people are writing pieces, but the idea is like, hey, America barely has a lead right now in AI over China. Barely, if you're really being generous, because Chinese models are cheaper and they have more energy, so they can run more efficiently. The cost of tokens is way lower. And so America kind of only leads in the cutting edge models like Mythos and Fable. They're like 6 months ahead or whatever on these cutting edge models. And if our biggest and latest and greatest companies in this area are getting kneecapped by the government because they won't play ball with the Pentagon, it's like you're going to throw away what little lead we have in already this stupid bubbly industry. It's like, it's just so short-sighted. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it was Amazon CEO. You can see here, Amazon CEO, the one that cracked down on it. But I do think there was this meme, by the way, which I thought was really funny. This is the current CEO of Amazon. I wanted to know it was me. Chinese models are cheaper because they're made in China. No, the Chinese models are cheaper because they have more, they're open source and they have more energy in China. They have more power plants, so they can run it at a lower cost. I'm like, Pete Hegseth saying shit like this, he's like grave dancing as they ban them. The fact that it's still not back, it's been a week and Fable is still not back, is crazy, bro. Isn't China also kneecapping models? Not that I've seen. I mean, in terms of like they can't talk about Tiananmen Square and shit. Yeah. And obviously, the Chinese open source models do distill from Claude and OpenAI, but they haven't found a way to stop that yet. So now on the other side of it, so whenever this Pentagon thing happened, when the Department of War kicked Anthropic out, what actually happened was it was the biggest PR win for Claude of all time. They went to #1 on the App Store. We did a video on it. But since then, Claude passed OpenAI in revenue and became a more valuable company. They went from basically unknown for the broader public and skyrocketed it after this. So this could also backfire from the Trump administration. It makes Claude, Fable, seem like the god tier model. It's so good it had to get banned. And maybe everybody wants it now after that. Like it could do that. The problem is it's so pricey, so it might just force alternatives. So no, that's the kind of update. I don't have like a super deeper thing. I will say, some part of it is the original thing though. Some part of it is this. Like if you look up statements from Dario even weeks before this happened, it's like, please regulate AI. Danger's coming. Danger is coming. Regulate us. And then they regulate him and it's, oh God. How could this happen? We're all trying to find the guy that caused this. But yeah, this is not really, it's not like a comprehensive regulation, like a smart set of rules that apply to all companies. It's like the government hard punishing the one AI company they don't like. Instantly. And then making up stories about them. By the way, one part that was really annoying is that the government just made up a fake story that the reason they did it so quickly is because Daria was at a wellness retreat and couldn't be reached. And like they disproved that instantly. There is no truth to that at all. And they just made it to make him seem like an out of touch CEO. That's just so, it's just a, like, it ruins Howard Lutnick's position when there's an open lie attached to it instantly. And can I get a glizzy for that? Epstein's neighbor? I know, can you believe he's a bad guy? I can't imagine that the guy who lived right next to Jeffrey Epstein for years and years and years, went to his island multiple times, and then went to his island more but lied about it. Then was caught lying about it and is still in power, that he might be a bad guy or an untrustworthy guy. That doesn't make sense to me, but Fabrice, they were the 58 months. It's always who you least expect. It's always who you least expect. Ugh. Big or A, are you going to multi-stream? No, I don't think I've never had any interest in multi-streaming. My streams are for this deep personal connection that me and this specific chat have. Our friendship is the world to me, and I wouldn't want to dilute it with some schmuck from YouTube. And then secondly, they're just to farm clips. Or not, I mean, it's just like, I'm not trying to maximize live viewers. I'm trying to get a good vibe in here so that I can farm a clip. And obviously, I need to be able to like keep things as parasocial as possible. Hey, Atrioc, I'm going to school right now, and I brought you up to my marketing professor. Can you explain why he failed me on the spot? Because he knew that if you watch Atrioc, he no longer has anything he can teach you. He wants to kick you out of the nest, dude. Get out of school, get out into the real world. You're already ahead of the class. Okay, he's doing what's called tough love, and he's a good teacher for that. Secondly, yeah, he's afraid that if you stick around, you're going to have his job in no time. He knows that for a fact. You're gonna be one of the people that stands up in class and corrects him, and then everyone claps. Actually, that's the marketing funnel, and everyone goes. And then he has single tears on his cheek, and he passes you his badge. Atrioc, you should do a deadlock arc. Can I be serious with you for a moment, Addy Penguin? Can I be really serious with you? Were you raised incorrect? What about, I mean, let me take this again. But let me look at your chat history, actually. Howdy, Penguin. You have 762 messages in here. You've been following for over a year. What about our relationship together? And it is a close one because you're a chatter here, which means we are lockstep. What about our almost friendship, you could say, has made you think that a deadlock arc would be good for me, for you, for the viewers, for the stream, what about it? It would be funny. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't think it would be a good time. Besides, playing Deadlock on Twitch is actually not allowed unless you get permission from Connor Eats Pants. He's kind of the mafia boss of Deadlock on Twitch. He takes a tax, takes a toll. You can't go up on his turf. And I'm afraid of him. And I don't know if I can afford his fee. So I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm glad, you know what? I'm glad Deadlock players like it. I literally have no problem with the game. But I'm so glad, as of today, I am done with grinding a game, a multiplayer ranked game for the foreseeable future. I grinded Warcraft for a month. I grinded Age of Empires for a month. I have a break. I'm going to take it. I literally need to take this. I was so happy in February and March with my health and my schedule and my sleep and the basketball and the gym. And now it is my sleep schedule's way off. Yeah, it's just I'm so happy to be done and ready to get back on the grind. I'm on a chud life, dude. I'm trying to be done with it. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I'm glad I got the win on day 9. That's like a bucket list thing for me. It's really cool. Day 9's a big idol of mine, so that was cool. But I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm so ready to be on a more normal schedule. Aren't you day 9's longest sub? I might actually be, by the way. I might actually be day 9's single longest sub. That's not even impossible. I have a 15 year. Okay. Let me see right now. What is my day 9 TV sub? I'm going to type in chat. Test. I'm a 128-month subscriber. Damn, that's fucking crazy. So I'm basically a new viewer around there. But I didn't follow until last week. Watched him on Justin TV as Day 9 Dailies were peak. Day 9 Daily 100 is one of the greatest pieces of online media ever created. It's such an inspiring, thoughtful speech on the nature of competition. It motivated me decades ago when I was first hustling into this industry. And yeah, it was just really cool to play with him. I had a great time. I'm glad that game got to happen. If I'd have missed that one, I would have felt really sad. It helped me so much when I was dealing with tough times. Honestly, me too. Like I remember watching Day 9 Daily 100 when I was living in that rented room doing babysitting side jobs and writing esports articles to try and make money to live in the outskirts of LA, commuting 2.5 hours to go to League of Legends matches to write about them for $10. And I was like trying to make it work. And I watched Day 9 Daily and it was like, this is why I fucking do this. It was like important. It was important. He's the GOAT, bro. Haven't caught the stream in a minute, but thoughts on 007. I'll beat it soon. Now that I'm done grinding, the Age of Empires arc is officially over. Maybe I'll cast tomorrow, but likely it's over. I am going to finish 007 for sure. I really like the game, but obviously it's like Hitman intro, you know, it's like Hitman Light. So it's just like a fun game that I'm glad did well. And I think the story and acting is cool. It's a good Bond game. Aren't you going to Brazil to cast an AOE tournament? Yeah, I'm going to Hamburg, Germany in November to cast the S tier Garrison 2 Age of Empires tournament. I will be a caster, but it's not Brazil. Not Brazil. Hamburger, that's not a real place. I think the real name is like probably like Schlauschenstein or something, but they call it Hamburg for the Americans so that we feel more comfortable. I think it's probably that. It's like I wouldn't feel comfortable driving around Germany unless I knew I was in Hamburg. Its real name is Flavortown. Nah, it's actually Hamburg. I live there. I was joking. I'm well aware that Hamburg is a real city. I lived in Germany for 3 years. I was being serious. They changed the name for Americans. Hey, wait. Warcraft right now, Atrioc? Dude, no, Harry, no. No, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I just gave a whole speech on how I'm kind of moving. No. I do owe you one. If you forced me to do it, I would do it, but I think you're just trolling me, and I want you to know that it's now time for me to end ranked grinding ladders. I need to take a full month of good sleep, good gym time. But thanks for being accommodating today. Sorry about the mix-up. I actually do feel bad. I'm glad I got to cast and still contribute. And I'm also just glad that I don't know, everything worked out. It wasn't like I caused a huge upset or something. Okay, cool. Hitting the gym to gain and lose the same 2 pounds. I will have you know that while I feel like I'm not getting any stronger because I've been skipping the gym so much, I have lost weight. I started this year at 185 and I am now 177, 178. Okay. It's not incredible, but it's positive. Okay. And so, if I can get to 175, my goal, and just stay there and then hopefully get stronger. 177 tons. Does that make you feel good to say? You feel like a big man calling me 177 tons? Wow, does he always get this defensive? There's no winning. There's no winning with chat, bro. You try to defend yourself? Oh, well, Mr. Defensive now. You don't talk about it? They fucking triple down. It's crazy. Obviously, I only have 6 months left of the year of health, bro. I do want to lock the fuck in. I would like to end the year at my goal weight and feeling really good about my sleep. I feel like the best times of my life, the biggest progress I make is when I get these, if I can chain together 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of great sleep, I start unlocking superpowers. I swear to God, I feel like I start doing insane shit. I just start going crazy. I just start accomplishing shit I never thought was possible. And then when I get on low battery mode, it's tough. I get flow state. What is Moscow is burning mean? Fuck it. Normally I would stall more. Let's talk about it. It's actually so important to me. Obviously, it's a story I've covered in some way for a while. I'm gonna give you a tiny recap and then talk about what just happened, which is kind of insane. 1 second, set the PowerPoint. Okay. Here we go. Okay, look. No, that's the wrong one. That's Howard Lutnick again. There it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, look. The war in Ukraine has been going on for 4 years and 4 months. Longer than the Eastern Front of World War II. One of the longest conflicts that modern Russia has been in. It's insane. And if you look at it on a map, one thing you'll notice is how little that Putin has actually accomplished. These are the battle lines in 2022, 4 years ago. Then in 23, then in 24, then in 25. Now that is after 2 million people, then 25, this is 26. That's after 2 million people dead. He has sent 2 million people, 1.3 million on the Russian side, 800,000 on the Ukrainian side, to die for a few miles of territory. An absolute humanitarian disaster, a huge waste of life, an ego-driven war disaster. I mean, it's what Iran might turn into if you give it 5 years. Okay? 2 million casualties. I'm sorry, dead or injured. Dead or injured. I'm sorry, casualties. Casualties, not dead. That's correct. 2 million casualties. Okay? And by the way, it's all of this is under fog of war, so exact numbers are disputed by both sides. But it's strongly indicates that over 1 million young working age men in Russia are out of work, are out of like commission because of this war, which is insane to gain, again, a few square miles of territory. It has become brutal, grueling trench warfare. However, in recent months, the strategies that Ukraine has employed have started to gain them momentum. I won't say openly turn the tide, though some will say that. But they have started to gain momentum using robots, drones, and other things I'm going to talk about. But what's particularly unique, and why I'm talking about it today, is that less than 48 hours ago, the war, which has been isolated primarily to the Ukrainian front, did what people thought was impossible a few years back, and it reached Moscow. This is the scene in Moscow less than 48 hours ago. Thick black smoke over the city. Again, Moscow is hundreds of miles from the front, deep within Russia, and has a 3-layer air defense system. Previously, it was considered completely impenetrable. And now, Ukrainian drones are not only striking deep into Russia, they are striking in the heart of Moscow, hitting fuel depots and cutting off supply lines. It's crazy. It's unthinkable stuff that's happening. So a couple things that have been shown throughout this war, which were like defying conventional wisdom. Tanks and armored vehicles, which were considered to be the extremely important for the war effort at the start, have struggled. They've been much less useful than it indicated. Masses of cheap drones can spot and attack them. So they've been destroying all these what they thought were advantageous Russian tanks. There's been weird tactics like drone nets that have been way more important for moving vehicles than ever thought before. Crazy shit like a single ground robot that looks like this defended a position from Russia for 6 weeks. 45 days straight, this one robot, unmanned with no humans, held a position. These are things that never happened in war before. They also had, I talked about this on LS, but the very first position taken entirely by robots. The first unmanned like hill that was assaulted and taken happened by Ukraine. So like weird stuff. This is like the first wave of weird stuff that's happening. And you're seeing it all happen in Russia. But the craziest thing, the reason, I mean, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but one of the core reasons why in recent months, Ukraine has started to have wild advantages and strike places they never thought were possible is that Ukraine created essentially a battle pass for war. I am not exaggerating. Kill Russian soldiers, win points is not an exaggeration. They created a system where if you record striking priority targets, either killing an enemy soldier, destroying a tank, hitting a depot, you gain E points. It sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not. Okay? It is a point system that rewards battlefield kills. And what it does is it incentivizes them to strike priority targets. And when they get these points and then record them and show it, they can redeem the points for hitting priority targets on a store like this. This is a real Amazon of war called Brave One, where they can turn their points that their unit gets into more equipment for their unit. Now, this sounds insane, but what it does in practice is, first of all, it motivates soldiers to strike the most highest priority targets. Number two is the most effective units get the best equipment. So if you are the best drone pilot squadron, you are getting the best drones and the best missiles and the best. It is like the way to allocate your military resources most effectively. It's a little dystopian. It's crazy they've gamified war, but ever since rolling this out, they have started to see unprecedented success with drone warfare. Look, they literally have a leaderboard. This is not made up. They have a drone combat leaderboard that gains points to get more soldiers. It is what, I mean, like they have like monthly results. It is wild. And look, they'll say, the reason it works, this is the Ukraine's defense minister. Military units receive resources. It sounds like a game. The way he speaks sounds like a game developer speaking. Military units receive resources based on results. The more targets they destroy, the more points they earn. This is an incentive that enables units to strengthen their capabilities with new technologies. So it's genuinely wild. And these drone units are starting to expose gaps. I wonder if I could just, there we go. Expose gaps in Russia's defense. Once seen as almost, this is 6 hours ago. Once seen as almost impenetrable, Russian air defenses are now under growing strain from Ukrainian drones. They're just constantly hammering at different weak points and then finding huge upside in results that earn them more points, which give them more equipment, and then it's like snowballing in a lot of crazy ways. It's giving Ukraine rare momentum against Russia. After what was a grueling multi-year trench warfare, they're starting to see real success. It's wild. Soldiers are incentivized to go after very complex and more challenging targets, like rear area infrastructure, barracks, and trucks, far away from the front. Before, they were just bombing tanks in the front line. Now they're hitting oil supply depots, refueling stations, supply delivery trucks. And it's completely causing chaos and mismanagement, disorganization in the Russian supply line. It's wild, bro. And I'm not kidding. They're literally wargaming it. This is a real screenshot. They are wargaming it. And it's successful. And so when you look within 48 hours ago and they're striking the heart of Moscow, you got to imagine that's a lot of points. They're hitting oil depots in Moscow, and it's bringing the war directly to Russia's doorstep. Moscow was the heart of Russia and was seen as insulated from the broader effects of the war. And what's crazy is, this is the video from yesterday. This fuel storage depot explodes. Although, I'll have a little note on this. And this explosion with the lid flying in the air instantly went viral worldwide. There's memes about it. It's crazy viral thing. It turns out that while drones did hit Moscow, this particular explosion was because Russia's air defense missed and hit themselves. But it just shows the level of disorganization and chaos that is happening on the Russian side because they're getting hit in places they never thought they would get hit. The panic is starting to spread. Again, in the heart of Moscow, they're having fuel lines. I wonder if I have they're having 1 in 4 gas stations across the country are now having restricted sales. They're having gas lines because they cannot supply every fuel station. And that is hitting the heart of Moscow. So people are actually really feeling the economic pain. And by the way, Russia, which should have an absolute field day selling oil right now because oil prices are up because of the Iran war, is actually, they saw like a 5% decline in oil exports entirely because of Ukraine's strikes. They keep hitting the refineries and the export facilities, so it's actually slowing down Russia's oil sales, which is how they fund their entire war. It's brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant. It's not, the whole thing is disastrous that we're in this war, but what Ukraine is doing, David and Goliath style, is absolutely brilliant. It's unprecedented. And Russia's central bank, which in a rare moment of like speaking against the war and Putin in a way, is basically openly saying, hey, I know everybody wants us to cut rates to juice the economy. We can't cut rates because we have economic difficulties and a fuel crisis. Inflation is already hitting so hard, we cannot cut rates anymore. So the Russian economy is like freezing up. They're at 14.25% interest rate. Like the cost to borrow is already so high and they can't lower it. I mean, they did a tiny lower, but they wanted to lower it more and they couldn't. So it's like things are freezing up behind the scenes. And despite what you might see from like obvious Russian bots who come out in full force whenever it gets talked about, it's like there's a momentum that is building outside of Ukraine, in countries outside of Ukraine that are starting to see it. The EU has just restarted membership talks with Ukraine because Hungary, which is like the last veto voting against it, has dropped their opposition. So now there's like a real chance that Ukraine will rejoin the European Union. And they're still supporting Ukraine with money and funds and weapons, even though America stopped doing that. The EU still is doing that. Recently, a real sign that momentum is changing is that Belarus, which is the country bordering Ukraine from the north, who has previously been deeply allied, basically, I mean, not openly, but obviously, their president, Lukashenko, he's president or prime minister? Let me get that correct for the fucking video. Is he, what's his role? He's the president. Yeah, I was right. Okay, he's president. Yeah, he's a dictator, but he's president. It's the official name. He's a puppet state. Lukashenko has been in name out of the war. Like in the name, he has no side, but has been obviously helping Russia and Putin. But he recently said, I mean, he's been clearly spotted with Putin. He's been clearly helping him out. But he recently said, I apologize to Zelensky. After like saying he should surrender for years, he said, I apologize for saying that, which is like a really big sign that momentum is changing and Ukraine's army is like very powerful. And what's crazy is Zelensky's response was, okay, if you apologize, then get rid of all your radar towers that are helping Russia along the border. And he said, if you don't do that within 1 week, I will. Oh, and then this just happened. This happened like yesterday. So there's like a bit of a like Zelensky's walking around with some aura, with like some confidence of like, they really do have momentum. And the Ukrainian military is a elite fighting force at this point. In a world of drone warfare, there is basically no military more practiced and cutting edge than Ukraine right now. It's undeniable at this point. And a lot of people are starting to notice. Maybe not America, because we're seemingly behind the times, but like the UK is offering Ukraine missiles with no US components and trying to trade with them for drone knowledge. Here we have more examples. Germany is signing a defense deal with Ukraine to help work out plans for joint production of advanced drones and battle-tested drone systems. All the Gulf states, basically everybody around Iran is like, we will give you as much oil as you need. Just teach us about drones. like everybody within range of Iran's drones, like whatever it takes, you can have oil. Just please. So like, even though famously somebody said that he doesn't have the cards. I wonder if I have the fucking clip here.
Beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you.
It turns out he actually does have some pretty powerful cards that have become pretty important for other countries around the world. This is Mark Rutte of NATO saying this openly, which is pretty wild.
A strong armed force and a capacity to conduct modern warfare unlike any other NATO member states. So I think the tide has actually turned. I think we Europeans have to understand that, we need Ukraine more than Ukraine needs us.
Think about that. NATO is saying that. The head of NATO and the Finnish president, that's not Mark Rutte? I'm sorry, that's the president of Finland. I'm so sorry. Incorrect. President of Finland, but also a member of NATO. I'm sorry, this is Stubb. It's crazy. I get the Europeans with glasses confused. I'm sorry. This is Stubb, all right. Well, President of Finland did say, correctly by the way, that NATO needs Ukraine at this point more than Ukraine needs NATO. Ukraine has found a way to get the money, the supplies, the oil, and the fight done by themselves. And so now their expertise is of more value to NATO than they are outside of it. And him saying that is a pretty big tide shift in how it's been handled.
They know how to do this thing. Then the question is on the peace agreement. I just don't.
So I think there's just a key highlighted quote. And so, by the way, 1 hour ago, this piece is from 5 days ago, where the FT reported that the Ukrainian drone campaign has choked off Moscow's lifeline to Crimea, which is where one of the battle lines is. Okay? And apparently all of the fuel lines and the supplies are being cut off with drones. 1 hour ago, this happened in Crimea, hitting a fuel depot station. Like this article is being proven true in real time. They are cutting them off. The drone warfare is effective. Now, does this mean the war is over and Ukraine has won? No, absolutely not. It is still a grueling, grinding, horrible loss of life in war, okay? And Zelensky, 2 hours before this presentation, said, I am warning of a massive impending attack. That Russia, after being attacked at Moscow, is going to retaliate in a major way. But this will be like the 5th or 6th time that Russia has said, this time we're going crazy. This time is our massive surge. And Russia is losing all patience on the home front for this level of recruitment, economic damage, oil damage. So I don't know what this actually means, but Zelensky's warning is worth taking a listen to. So what I'm trying to say is it's at this moment more than ever that I think what the Finland president is saying is correct. We should not be America should not be treating Zelensky the way he was treated here. Okay? In fact, this leaked report just came out that fucking Scott Bessent said Trump should not meet Zelensky because he's a little fucker, a special needs child, and Mr. Bean on crack. This is not how we should treat what should be an extremely important military ally. I don't understand what's going through this administration. I don't understand why they are so cozy with Russia. I don't understand it. But anybody at this point who does not see that Ukraine is somebody who should be allied with and trying to help is crazy. And the fact that we're spending so much money and time and effort in Iran, of all places, when this is a real successful effort to deal damage to Putin is wild to me. It's wild to me. But that's sort of the update. I just want to say, obviously, I'm excited for what Ukraine is doing, but in no way am I excited about what's happening with this war. I wish it was over. I wish it had never happened, but I certainly wish they would end. I hope they can find peace, but it seems like with Putin, the only way they can find peace is through strength. And so I'm impressed and hopeful that Ukraine will continue its momentum. It's just a cool bit of hope and story in how they have pulled off the impossible odds using new tech. And that's the update. That's what's happening in Moscow. I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah. And this is crazy. I mean, this is Moscow, bro. That's crazy. In this line, more than 4 years into Putin's invasion, the advance of Russian forces has slowed to a crawl while Ukraine strikes are evading Russian defenses and hitting military energy infrastructure. They're just getting picked apart. Yeah, that's it. That's the update. Thanks for watching. It's a crazy time to be living in, man. Is the U.S. helping Ukraine still at all? I mean, maybe with some intelligence, but my understanding is like America has pulled back all aid to Ukraine, so they're not helping them. Which is just criminal, man, for what they could be doing and what they could do with it's like not even as a charity case, as like if by the way, having Ukraine's intelligence and knowledge of drones would have been really helpful if you're planning to invade Iran. If you or somebody thinking about invading fucking Iran, maybe it would have been good to find your one ally who's at the cutting edge of drone warfare and talk to them a bit. It's just so foolish, bro. Like this entire war in Iran, the military part of it, they've wasted so much money on conventional missiles that are, essentially useless versus drones, like cost effectively. The only effective thing they did was the blockade. The blockade was the only smart part of it. Is the strait open now? No, the strait is closed again. 15 ships got through and the strait got closed again. Because Israel bombed Lebanon, as everyone said would happen, us included. Yeah, Trump is talking about adding his own toll. Trump's desperate, bro. Trump is flailing. I was going to say I don't blame him. Of course I blame him for getting into this war, but he is trying anything to get out of it. It's just Israel's keeping him in. Israel's doing whatever they fucking can to keep the war going by bombing Lebanon. But Trump screwed himself. Like I said this at the beginning of the stream, but we have a few more people here, so I'll just say it now. If you didn't see, when the peace deal was announced and about to be signed, Trump admitted two things he should not have admitted. He said, bro, thank God we're signing this deal because we are 4 weeks from running out of oil. Our reserve tanks are out in 4 weeks. And like you say that, and then the negotiation falls apart and you've lost your leverage. It's the worst art of the deal I've ever fucking seen in my life. And then he also said separately that we're nearing economic bedlam if we don't get this war over with. And it's like, bro, you've just handed them on a silver platter the knowledge they can extract even more. That's just dumb, bro. It's just dumb. Trump needs to broadcast from the Oval Office and tell Netanyahu to go fuck himself down, right? You're kind of joking, but in some way, yes. America, to exit this war, has to publicly split from Israel. Because right now, when Israel strikes Lebanon, it's seen as America striking Lebanon, and the negotiations end. It's the only way. The tail is wagging the dog now. JD Vance came out. I watched the clip at the beginning of the stream. JD Vance did come out and say, he said, if I was in the Israeli government and I only had one friend left in the entire earth, Donald J. Trump, I certainly wouldn't blow up his peace deal. Did you see Trump joked about fail? Yeah, we talked about this. Trump did say that if this negotiation fails, he's going to blame JD Vance, which is why JD Vance has been so zesty about it. That's why he's just fucking saying shit. Because he's been set up as the massive fall guy. Do you think we will split from Israel? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Certainly, on some level, yes. But on some level, the nuclear-armed intelligence ally in the Middle East, it's like every major nation has a little bro in the Middle East. Russia had Syria, China has Iran, America has Israel. They just have them because you have to have a presence in the Middle East or you get choked off from supply lines. But that's almost changing with drones now. It's like you can't even protect power. So there might be a public split, but I don't know. I don't know how it'll go. But the point is, it's supposed to be, the dog wagging the tail and the other way around. Like the idea was it was America's strategic interest to have military protective power around the oil. But now it's in Israel's interest to drag America into a 20-year war to get rid of their biggest rival, Iran. And that's not, they have to recognize that and get out. U.S. has Saudi now? Honestly, yeah. But I still blame Trump. I blame Trump more than any individual for this fucking war. Every other president got the same pitch and they said no, and he said yes. And he got the same warnings from the CIA that it'd be stupid. He got the same warnings from the Pentagon that it'd be stupid. At the end of the day, it's his fucking arrogance and idiocy, bro. He's the reason we're in this war. It was so obvious. He received, his generals told him it wouldn't work. I mean, I blame Squeaks too. I blame Trump and I blame Squeaks a little bit more, but but like barely. Like it's almost neck and neck. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd put Squeaks ahead. Yeah, you're right. I'd probably Squeaks a little bit ahead, but you get the general gist. What is the current outlook on Trump attempting a third term? I don't think it'll happen. I do not think it'll happen. That's my current prediction. He is going to seemingly try some shit with this midterms, but the midterms is the big question mark. But I think even if everything goes well for him, I don't think he's third terming it. I think he wants to pass it along to. Right now, he's doing like a apprentice style fucking game show between Rubio and Vance. He's doing like a bachelor style, will he or won't he? I'm planning with each other. He's and I think Vance is sensing that he's lost favor because Vance was more against the Iran war and leaked it to the press. And I think Vance has lost favor with Trump. But like the way it's looking is the midterms are still a bloodbath for Republicans. That's what it's looking like. I mean, who knows what'll happen? Trump is trying some shit, but his low popularity is not doing him any favors. The look on Rubio's face at the G7 was brutal. Dude, Rubio wants to kill himself. Every time I see Rubio behind Trump now, he looks like he wants to kill himself. I mean, Rubio's not my favorite guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he's like, I think he wouldn't have done 2/3 of the dumb shit that Trump has done. I think Rubio's only fucking super weird obsession is Cuba. Outside of that, he's not as insane. And he's just miserable. If Trump tries to draw red lines and retaliate to Israel, punish Israel, well, it's just like he doesn't have as much. People overestimate. I'm not going to try to rain on your parade here. People overestimate how much leverage America truly has in the short term over Israel. In terms of like, everyone's like, pull away their funding. You can pull away their funding, absolutely. But if you actually look at the amount of funding that America gives Israel, first of all, it's pretty small by American budget standards. And secondly, 80% of it actually just goes back to American military contractors. It's actually mostly a jobs program for Raytheon and fucking, like, people think the biggest, most powerful lobbies in America is AIPAC. It's not even close. It's healthcare and military. Healthcare and military are the biggest lobbies. They are 1,000,000 times stronger. They are the ones that control politicians, and that's where the money goes. So most of the money that goes to Israel is actually round-tripped right back to fucking Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and fucking and all that money is not that much. It's not that much. It literally, if you have $1 trillion military budget, it's like fucking 3 to 20 billion, somewhere in that. It's nothing. So that's just part of it. Like, you cut all that money, Israel would not change. They wouldn't change the amount of money they're spending on their military. They would cut back maybe some social services. And then America would lose the unsinkable aircraft carrier they have with Israel. That's why they don't do it strategically. They should do it just because it's a fucking PR nightmare. They dragged us into a horrible war. Like, they should just cut ties. But that's why they're trying to keep some lot of leverage over this partner. The thing is, I think there was a worry before that if America split from Israel, Israel would go to China. But that has sort of been burned. Israel's burned every partner except for America, and now they're burning America. So America has more leverage, actually. Like, what J.D. Vance is saying is true. They have a lot more leverage because it's like you have nowhere else to go. Why would Israel join China? They wouldn't join China, like become Chinese. It was that Israel trades a lot with China. They are trading partners. And it's not like they could trade their intelligence and Middle Eastern leverage. Listen, China doesn't care about Iran. They're just partners with Iran because they want influence over Hormuz so they can make sure the oil flows. China does not care about any country in the Middle East outside of its trading partners to make sure the oil flows to their country. So they would partner, I mean, in a different time. I don't know if they do it now, but they would have partnered with Israel. Um, mm, mm, mm. We have more leverage over Israel than that. Bush and Reagan, yeah, that's a different time though. You have to understand how far America's relative advantages have fallen since the Reagan era. The Israeli budget 20x since Reagan era. The percentage that comes from America way higher, and then America's debt ability to finance things, their relative military superiority, it's all fallen off. Soft power's evaporated. Reagan could pull that off. I mean, like in the Clinton days, America ran 2 aircraft carriers between Taiwan and China. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't do that now. It's just times are different. America's advantage from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s does no longer exist. And so they want to project that power, but they can't actually act in that way. An arms embargo to Israel is no doubt strong enough leverage. I guess I'm saying as I am questioning that. It's what you should probably do, but it's your last arrow. You pull that off, and then they go, okay, no, and then you've got nothing. If they start getting arms from somewhere else, you've got nothing. And now it's another state in the Middle East that hates you. Do you know what I'm saying? You've run out of. It's like saying, if America arms embargo to Ukraine, they can't get it done. They can get it. Everyone can get it done nowadays. America is not the only route for weapons or arms or anything. It's just not. It's just not. What are your thoughts on Australian federal budget? I haven't really answered it. I do think that, is there an update on what happened with Australia and negative gearing? I know they tried to make some changes. They didn't really go far enough, but they tried. They made some effort. And then they got so much pushback from like boomers, paid media, house owners that I think they rolled it back. And now everyone's mad. Is that what happened? Am I crazy? Yeah, they're walking it back. It's just crazy. It's just proof to me that hard choices can't get made until a crisis. In modern democracies, no country can make hard choices until a crisis happens. We're just sleepwalking until then walked it back. Okay, well, that's good, I guess. But I mean, it wasn't even the hard choice yet. It was like the softest version of the hard choice. It was like, we're going to change the rules, but only for the young people. And they're already, I don't know. I think they should go harder, so much harder. It's boomers, bro. It's not being rolled back. Well, don't say that too early. Don't say that too early because there's a very real possibility that the boomer outrage over it causes the Labour Party in Australia to lose, and then the new party comes in and rolls it back, which is like extremely likely to happen. So don't count it too quickly. That's what I expected to happen, but the people are saying it rolled back. What allowed previous administrations to make the hard choice? Dude, I've thought about this a lot. I don't know. I'm not saying they all did. I'm just saying there was a time in America where politicians worked more bipartisanly to do longer term. Maybe it was just previous crises. I think it maybe just requires a crisis every time. I think all the big hard choice, like if you think about trust busting and antitrust and and banking regulations from the 40s and 30s after the Great Depression. Like, it all happened because of crises. But I do think money in politics and Citizens United has made it hard for anyone to make smart choices because they get, their opponent gets funded and then they lose. So I think Citizens United is like one of my core hatreds. It's one of my core missions to try and like educate people about. Why would politicians make hard choices with making easy choices lands them? It's some level of this, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not just this. It's not just that, oh, they're so corrupt, they have to get the money. The truth is, if you make hard choices, the citizenry also hates you. That's the truth. The truth is that, I mean, I think they're bad communicators. But the truth is, when you do the hard thing, the people vote you out. They get angry at you. They don't like the short-term pain. And that's the fucking problem. That's why I think it's harder to fix than people estimate. Now, I think the problem is that most of the voters are boomers and they just want no pain. I think other generations might be willing to do it as long as the boomers also sacrificed, but they just won't do it. The boomers are like taking everything down with them, bro. That's why I've been so impressed, by the way. As someone, I literally have my excitement for Zoran was like, hey, he seems exciting. He's glad he's not Cuomo. So like, I'm really excited about him because he's doing a real hard job of communicating hard choices about things like budgets. He's like getting people on board with like, hey, we have to cut some things to do. It's just like, that's impressive and important and we have to do it. Hey, anyway, this has been fun to talk about. No doubt. This has been very fun to talk about, but I really wanted to watch the new Drew Gooden. It's apparently a takedown of the music industry as it stands right now. The music industry is broken. It did 2.5 million views in 3 days. Seems like a Drew Gooden classic, a true banger, and I wanted to watch it with you guys. So why don't we do that right now? We'll kick off Get Smarter Saturday with a Drew Gooden banger. But actually, give me 1 second to get a little bit of water because my voice is going. And then we'll watch Drew. Look at him fucking mocking the camera right now. Okay. What do you got, Drew? Someone said spoilers, but he thinks, sorry, wait. You said spoilers for the video, but he thinks musicians are greedy and Spotify is great. I figured that was his take. We could probably skip the video, honestly. I think that's what most people think. Just a really smart take on it. Obviously, people that create art are lame as fuck. People that provide platforms to take attacks from those that create art are geniuses. That's, we all know that. But let's just check to see if that's exactly what he said.
Industry is in an interesting place right now because on one hand it's more the music industry is in the
music industry is thriving because I'm creating a fucking remix. Music is back, baby. Wait a minute, put that shit on Spotify, maybe 10 cents.
industry is in an interesting place right now because on one hand it's more accessible than it's ever been. It's more democratic than it's ever been. And if recent trends continue, it will soon be more profitable than it's ever been. But also, doesn't it kind of feel like it's completely falling apart?
Last week, 6 of the top 50 trending songs on Spotify were AI generated.
That's so fucking crazy. That's so aware. That's crazy, dude. That is wild, bro. I saw the #1 song on iTunes was a fucking AI generated country song. And it wasn't the one we made about Putin, which is just a crime on itself.
I was my daughter's age. If I'm looking at what musicians are doing now, I wouldn't want to do this.
If you have a business model and that goes up 10, 15%, you're in a lot of trouble. Well, it's doubled.
But there is a refusal to offer even a semblance of a sustainable revenue source.
I'm owed $30,000 in music royalties that I will probably never see.
A lot of bands that you love, they're gonna call it quits in the next 2 years.
The industry as a whole is raking in more and more money every year. But as with so many things in life, the majority of that is concentrated at the top. Record labels, tech executives, and monopolistic middlemen make billions, while the bottom 80% of artists are forced into a death match with each other. As their costs go up and the revenue goes down, many smaller acts are starting to get priced out of the industry altogether. I want to talk about all the things that are causing this, but let's start with Spotify, since nobody has been more influential to the current state of music than the company that fundamentally changed the way we listen to it. My main source for a lot of the information in this video is this book by Liz Pelly called Mood Machine. And I would say my biggest takeaway is that Spotify has never, at any point, cared about artists. In fact, they've routinely done just about everything they can to both undermine and replace them. I think it's important to point out that the company wasn't even founded with the intention of being a music streaming service. The plan from the beginning was—
Sorry to say this is just the first thing I think of when I see this guy. Do you guys know Hotshot GG? He was a League of Legends professional who was on Team CLG back in the day. Hotshot GG made so much money selling his team to Madison Square Garden that he outbid this guy for a house in LA. And I visited, he is in the nicest fucking house with this big old pool. He just chills. And he sold at the peak of the esports bubble and he outbid Daniel Ek for a house, which is crazy. I've been there.
Just to make a website that could sell ads. The content used to drive traffic to those ads was almost completely irrelevant.
Should it be product search or should it be movies or audiobooks? And then we ended up with music.
The only reason they eventually decided on music was because they felt like there was a market for it. I'm pretty sure if they thought they'd sell more ads on pictures of feet, then that's what they would have done. And maybe I'd still be subscribed. And I don't bring this detail up because this is my first day on Earth and I'm just now learning that businesses like to make money. I know that's usually the case. I just like to point this out because it annoys me how much Spotify's founders have tried to retroactively apply this nobility to their cause.
I did this not because I thought we could make a ton of money. I did this because I cared about the problem, right? I cared.
That's so fucked. That's so fucked to say when there's a clip of you saying like, yeah, I was going to do audiobooks or something, but that's crazy. That is crazy. He's like doing the direct to camera.
About music, and I cared about compensating artists fairly.
The problem was to distribute music, not to give you money.
Guys, we were never trying to profit. We just wanted to save the music industry. And I swear, we're gonna start saving it any day now. To be fair, it's easy to overly romanticize the time before music streaming apps as if back then everything was working perfectly and artists were just raking in revenue left and right. 20 years ago, the industry was struggling. Piracy had become a huge problem. Once people realized they could download a band's entire discography for free, why would they keep spending 99 cents just to buy one song? And unless the plan was to arrest millions of teenagers for using BitTorrent, the most realistic way to counteract this was to create something something just slightly more convenient in comparison so that people would see the value in paying for it. The problem for Spotify was that even while that income grew exponentially throughout the early 2010s, they just weren't able to keep enough of it for them.
You ever seen the graph? I hope he doesn't show this graph, but this is a music industry revenue by source. I don't know if you've seen how much fucking money they were making from CDs at the peak of the 90s. The peak of CDs pre-piracy. Yeah, here, like this. Look at this. Such a beautiful chart. Wait, no, I need not the non-blurry one. Give me the real one. There it is, right here. Look at this, dude. Just like this period right here was just enormous. The music industry was, this is like peak, like Britney Spears, Backstreet Boy. Like they were printing fucking money. They were selling Eminem. They were selling CDs hand over fist, man. They were thriving. And then piracy came, wiped it all out. And then it was like the ringtone rap era. The Soldier Boy, like everyone was making money off of ringtones because they couldn't sell CDs. And now it's streaming and touring.
Themselves. Sure, the only reason people use the app at all is to listen to the music that artists put on it, but that doesn't mean they should get most of the money. I won't rest until the guy who said, "What if we put Napster on phone?" is worth $10 billion. Oh, cool, I guess I can rest now. Now, the way monetization works on Spotify is that about 70% of the revenue that's made from subscriptions and advertisements are paid out to music rights holders, while Spotify pays their expenses with the remaining 30%. Now, I want you to remember those two numbers because I'm gonna refer back to them a lot in this video, and I'm gonna show you how that graph has slowly been morphing in the opposite direction. But let's start with the 70%. It's a common misconception that artists on Spotify are paid per stream, when technically that's not true. People often throw around a figure of like 0.3 cents, but that's just an estimate, and it changes all the time. In reality, there's a fixed pool of revenue that gets distributed every month based on the total number of streams across the entire platform. So if an artist were to have 1% of all the streams, they would be owed 1% of all the revenue. This means that while there's obviously a correlation between the amount of plays a song gets and the amount of royalties that artists receive.
Does he talk about bots? I won't pre-watch it, because like, I'm sure he does, right? Talk about bots? Because like there's so many artists that are exploiting this with okay, great. Okay.
It's not as if a third of a penny gets deposited into their account every time you press play. Spotify is a zero-sum game, so unfortunately, the more artists who succeed on it, the more the revenue pool gets spread thin. This is where I think they should be taking a much harsher stance than they currently are on AI-generated music. I don't care how much the technology is improving, AI slop is soulless, it's completely unnecessary, and more than anything else, it's theft. The only way it exists at all is because it was trained without consent on decades worth of stolen data. And yet, it is rampant online. Hundreds of thousands of songs are uploaded every single day, and over 40% of those are estimated to be completely AI generated. Now, I don't want to see AI content anywhere. I have no respect for the people who use it, and I cannot wait for all these companies to run out of money. But at least when like an AI YouTube short blows up, that doesn't financially affect everyone else on the platform. On Spotify, though, it does, because again, there's only a finite amount of money to go around. According to a website called sloptracker.org, just the top 10 songs from just 50 AI artists are responsible for millions of dollars being taken away from actual artists. And this is a very small sample size. Now, some people have tried to theorize that these songs could be a low-cost way for Spotify to attempt to recoup some of the royalties they owe. Because if there just so happened to be a song on the platform that Spotify owned the rights to, then that percentage of stream share would get redirected right back into the company. And I'm not accusing them of that, but at the very least, they're certainly not doing anything to stop it. And even if they don't agree that AI art is—
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. I wonder if they have done that. Like if Spotify created their own AI music generator, then they would just take up more and more percentage of the revenue pool, and it would all just, they would cut out all the, that's kind of fucked. I hadn't heard that. No, that's a speculation. I literally have no idea if they're actually doing that, but they're definitely incentivized to. It's like a grocery store creating their own off-brand products. Not off-brand like the $3 million disaster, but off-brand like off-label. Like, you know, when you make like the knockoff Lay's chips, like it's Kirkland. It's Kirkland products, but it's Kirkland brand music for Spotify made with AI. That's fucking crazy.
is inherently theft. The way that these artists have become so prominent is extremely suspicious. There's another website called Song Stats, which for pretty much every artist shows a graph of how their Spotify playlist reach has fluctuated over time. You'll probably notice that these tend to be all over the place. For real musicians trying to get their work listened to, it's a roller coaster. It is completely unpredictable. And now let's take some of the top AI artists and look at theirs.
That's an interesting shape. That doesn't look like the other graphs.
This is Inley, who currently has about 800,000 monthly listeners. And look at some of the playlists she's been in. Blues Mix, Morning Glow. These are official Spotify playlists. Here's one of the biggest ones I found, Breaking Rust, whose music sounds like it was trained on...
This is the fucking guy. Breaking fucking Rust was like #1 on iTunes or whatever. And it's just a fake AI-generated cowboy making fake AI-generated... It's so crazy. Can we listen? I'm not gonna pull it up. I'll probably get fucking DMCA'd for playing Breaking Rust.
30 hours of Chevy truck commercials.
But I heard it. I mean, he's gonna play it right now, actually. But I heard it, but it's not like it sounds like, oh, that's obviously AI. It just sounds, it's like slop. It's like, I mean, what's tough is I hate judging AI stuff off of like, oh, it's so bad. Because then you sound like those guys that made fun of the Monet painting they thought was AI, but it was just a Monet. It's like, it's not, whether or not it's good or bad is not the problem, is the fact that it just shouldn't be allowed. That's the point. It's like, I'm not going to judge it based on, like, if a human made sloppy country music, it's like, that's not for me. But the AI is going to get better. Even whatever details it has is going to get better. I'm not going to like get into the endless war of being like this, oh, it's got too many fingers on that painting. It's just like, you shouldn't be able to train on a human, cut the human out, and then pay all the money to an AI-generated 1-second click.
Just a few weeks after they released their very first song, they were already on playlists seen by 3 million people. What about the Velvet Sundown, who a lot of people were debating about last summer? Day 1! The day they put their music out, they were already in these giant playlists. How is that possible, right? How could anyone look at this and say that it happened naturally? Whether or not Spotify is personally responsible for making these things, their immediate and completely inorganic rise to fame is suggestive of something that should be against their terms of service. I mean, they remove the music of legitimate artists all the time, usually for much less nefarious statistical anomalies. So why is it that specifically with the Velvet Sundown, they turn the other way? I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
Follow-up question. Can you guys watch this brand deal real quick?
This video is sponsored by Opera. If you're a serial tab opener like I am, then Opera is the perfect browser to help you clean up the mess before it gets out of hand. You can easily group them all together in tab islands, and even color code and name them to keep all your little detours.
This isn't what I expected him to focus on, though. And this is obviously true, and I think Spotify and AI music suck. But, you know, I was, there's this rapper I like, who's struggling and trying to come up, and they're just talking about how grueling of a grind it is for an artist to break out nowadays, because you have to like make your songs for TikTok. Is Drake, his upcoming Drake.
Or separate. This is great for me when I'm researching videos because I'm constantly falling down rabbit holes, so being able to organize it as I go helps it feel a lot less cluttered and overwhelming. They also have a feature called Tab Traces, a visual indicator that underscores...
Yeah, Deontay Hitchcock is the artist, Deontay Hitchcock. And like, he's just talking about how you have to do this stuff to get your music out there. That's basically built for social media, and it's just annoying. It's like, it's a tough
The ones
time.
you visited most recently? The darker it is, the more recent you clicked on. It's very subtle, but it honestly makes a huge difference when you have a bunch of tabs and you're trying to remember the one you just looked at. And Opera makes things even more streamlined for me, since I know that there's certain things I can always access from the sidebar. Messaging apps, social media websites, and even a built-in music player that syncs with all the biggest streaming services. My favorite thing about this is that since it's integrated into the browser, it'll automatically pause your music when you start watching a video. And speaking of videos, they even have a video pop-out feature that lets you move whatever you're watching into the corner or to the side or even outside of the window altogether. And just like that, you're now a professional multitasker like me. You can download Opera for yourself by clicking the link in the description or in the pinned comment below. Thank you to Opera for sponsoring this video. In the early 2010s, in an effort to increase engagement on their app, Spotify began a heavy push towards something they call lean back listening. The idea that music isn't so much a piece of art to be intently listened to, but rather just like a concept constant hum that plays in the background of whatever you're doing. So they began to curate and promote playlists based on activities or vibes. Are you studying? We have a playlist for that. Going to sleep? We have a playlist for that. Breaking the news to your cousin that even though there's undeniable chemistry between you, the two of you can never be together simply because society deems it wrong. Believe it or not, playlists. The popularization of playlists and the opportunities that emerged for all the artists that got picked to be in them actually changed the way a lot of music got made. Artists would start reverse engineering the writing process to appease the algorithm. Songs got shorter, they got simpler, they would start with the most interesting part.
Wait, this is what he was talking about. Wait.
Appease the algorithm. Songs got short.
Like, especially hip-hop songs. They have to get so short and punchy and like, they're like basically a catchy hook for the chorus that you repeat 6 times and you make that for TikTok. It's crazy.
Order, they got simpler. They would start with the most interesting part because as long as people got through the first 30 seconds, it would count as a play and then your stats would go up. It's too risky to have a slow burn intro because you're just giving the listener more opportunities to skip it. And if they skip it, it tells the algorithm that your song sucks. And then they're never gonna put it in a playlist and no one's ever gonna listen to it and you're never gonna make any money and you're gonna be working at Popeyes forever. But while artists were busy trying to figure out how they could navigate the system, Spotify was hard at work pulling their own strings in the background. In 2017, the same question started getting asked by more and more people. Who's making all these random ass songs? And why are they ending up in so many playlists? Artists with a stock photo as their profile picture, with no bio, no website, no contact information, nothing that would indicate they're a real person trying to become a working musician. And yet some of them have songs with tens of millions of plays.
Okay.
Because, like a lot of the AI artists of today, they were snuck into official Spotify playlists. Again, no proof that Spotify's behind any of these. In fact, I've even seen one example of them outright denying it. So I'm just gonna take their word for it. But I will say, they also denied similar allegations in 2017, and that turned out to be a flat-out lie. No, we don't game the system, bad people do. And we're good. Turns out, no, actually. Several musicians have since revealed that they used to have a gig with Spotify where they would just record a bunch of like 2-minute long instrumentals that then Spotify would upload to their platform under random pseudonym. Just a bit of investigation revealed hundreds of artist profiles accounting for millions of dollars in royalty payments that Spotify gets to keep because they're the ones who commissioned it. And it's not like people were going out of their way to listen to these songs. Spotify has the power to force them in front of as many ears as they want. Former Spotify employees have talked about how strongly they were urged to prioritize these songs while curating playlists. Liz Pelly, in her book, uncovered internal documents that showed they even had a name for this: perfect fit content. And by 2023, hundreds of these massively promoted playlists were filled almost exclusively with these kinds of songs. Even weirder though, the source of a large percentage of this music, a company called Firefly Entertainment, is owned by someone who has a lifelong personal relationship with one of the higher ups over at Spotify, and he's made hundreds of millions of dollars in streaming revenue the past couple years. That's one hell of a coincidence. Now, an important detail here, and what I hate to admit makes this kind of a smart move on their part, is that the playlists they did this on tend to serve as background noise. So not only are people less likely to notice if a song is not as high of quality, but by nature, these playlists are designed to be listened to for way longer than you would an actual song by an actual artist. Let's say one of your favorite bands just released a new single and you love it. Over the course of a couple of weeks, you listen to it like 100 times. But also every night to fall asleep, you put on a gentle ambient piano playlist and let it run for 8 straight hours into the morning. Well, unfortunately, that means that at the end of the month, about 99% of your subscription revenue has contributed to a bunch of anonymous, faceless stock music that you weren't even awake to hear, and the remaining 12 cents goes to your favorite band for them to spend however they want. It's not like real musicians don't make this kind of music. They used to get picked to be on these playlists. This used to be a huge source of traffic and revenue for all of these small independent artists that Spotify pretends to care about, but now they've all been cast aside. They used their music to popularize these playlists before slowly replacing them with songs that they own the rights to. In 2018, they wrote a blog post about this instrumental guitarist named Lance Allen, whose life was changed when one of his songs got picked up by Spotify's peaceful guitar playlist, and within a couple of months, he had started earning enough revenue from streaming to pay his mortgage and even buy a new car. He was propped up by the company as an ultimate success story, a personification of this new era of self-sufficient musicians. Now, they ran this blog for 2 reasons.
I'll tell you this. Pay the Musician's Tale of a Coffee Cow got 100,000 listeners on Spotify, mostly from people who have never heard of me or my content. It just like hit a playlist or something.
One, it makes them look good. It helps them brand themselves as the artist empowerment company. Remember when we saved music? Remember when we did that? But the other reason they posted this is because it's an advertisement. If it can happen to this guy, it can happen to you. You just need a little nudge to get started, and we can provide it for you. It was around this time that Spotify started rolling out more promotional features specifically targeted at artists. Marquee ads, playlist pitching, this entire campaign kit that's often presented as more of a necessity than a luxury. They know that a lot of—
Oh, this is shit you have to buy? That's so fucked, dude. Make playlists the only way music gets exposed and then make you pay to get promoted to be your face out there. That's so fun.
struggling artists are desperate for a break, and by using people like Lance to show that
I can't wait till YouTube stops doing algorithmic support for videos and just makes me pay to have a Big A clip appear in your feed. I can't fucking wait, dude. It's gonna be so beast.
better future might be possible, they're now able to monetize that desperation. They have made millions of dollars off of independent artists by selling them on a dream. Just a few years after this blog was posted, after using these kinds of stories to advertise their promotional tools, Spotify had all but abandoned people like Lance. In 2023, he took to Twitter to express how impossible it had become for him to compete with the stock music farms taking over the platform. And today, when you look at the same playlist that once helped jumpstart—
Dude, I feel like music's just ahead of the game on video, but I already feel this kind of happening with video. I don't know if YouTube would literally do exactly what I'm saying, but you talk to any YouTuber and you already feel the wave of AI slop all over YouTube video. Anybody who does like video essays or I don't know, educational content or like trying to explain an event, it's like it's just so much AI slop generated. Any faceless YouTuber who normally would be able to get away with like just doing something interesting or having a unique style, it's like this shit's all fucking, it's a big wave coming. Yeah, anyone who likes history YouTube channels, every history event with a Wikipedia article has an AI slop video now with like a cartoon character talking about it, like in like a salmonella style. It's so fucked. It's so fucked.
His career, there doesn't seem to be a single real person on it. The final evolution of Spotify flexing their muscles in the face of independent artists was a tool they released in 2020 called Discovery Mode. By opting your songs into it, you increase the likelihood of having them recommended across the app, and in exchange, Spotify gets to keep 30% of your revenue. Pretty quickly, a lot of people in the industry were comparing this to something called payola, a common practice in the 1950s where labels would bribe DJs under the table to play their songs on the radio, gaming the system and making people think they were way more popular than they actually were. Payola became the subject of a bunch of lawsuits, investigations, and even arrests before being outlawed in the 1960s. But like a lot of things that used to be illegal, just give it enough time and someone will find a loophole to make it okay again. Yeah. The argument that Spotify makes to try and
namely a tech company. Just find a way to get around the law by saying, no, it's not that. It's this new thing with a different name. It's just like buy now, pay later. And it's just...
differentiate their program is that you don't have to pay any money up front. You pay on the back end. So it's different. But it works exactly the same way. The order of the transaction doesn't really matter when they've gone on record to brag about how many artists they've gotten to sign up for it and how many hundreds of millions of dollars they've retained as a result.
But first, let's talk payola. That's pay for play.
You cannot buy your way onto a playlist.
If anyone offers you pay for play to get on a Spotify playlist, it's a scam.
Hey, you can't give money to some website to end up in a playlist. That's wrong. If you want to get in playlists, give that money to us.
It's a scam.
Now, you might have been thinking through the past couple sections, Drew, this is all very interesting, and you're looking weirdly handsome today, but I don't listen to Spotify playlists, so none of this affects me. And it's important to point out that the algorithmic boost given to these songs applies to—
By the way, I don't listen to Spotify playlists. I have my own playlist. It's called the Storm Heroes playlist. I made it myself, and that's what I listen to, so I'm not worried about it.
Every method of discovery across the app. So that could be autoplaying after you finish an album, any radio mix from a song or artist, your Discover Weekly, your daily mixes. Hell, even if you just accidentally click the shuffle button twice and turn on this stupid feature, you are being served songs at a disproportionate level. Even though Spotify has long been putting less emphasis in their officially curated playlists and more in their individually generated ones, they're all still made using the same algorithm. An algorithm that is increasingly increasingly being influenced by pay-to-play. It's honestly kind of crazy that Spotify is able to monetize the same product in both directions. Listeners have to pay in order to hear music that artists have had to pay in order to be heard. They created a problem in order to sell you the solution. Discovery mode is often described as a win-win for everyone, even though that's literally not possible because it's not creating any more revenue. It's just distributing it differently. If it was truly a win-win for both artists and Spotify, well then everyone should sign up for it. But then what would happen if every single artist did? Whatever algorithmic boost they received would then be offset by the fact that somehow everyone else needs to get boosted too. Effectively, nothing would change, except of course that Spotify would get a 30% discount on every single song that ever plays algorithmically. And from looking into it, it kind of seems like this is already starting to happen. I'm wondering if they reached a point where too many artists signed up for the program and now it's not able to do anything because there simply aren't enough plays to go around. Don't worry though, I can almost guarantee that in the next couple of years, they're gonna put out some revamped Discovery mode.
Discovery
a higher tier of visibility for just a little bit more. Wait, you're still only giving away 30% of your revenue? Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Everyone else is giving away 80%. In the early days, Spotify was able to use their giant pool of investor money to inflate artist payouts to make it seem like it was worth putting their music here. And so they did. Everyone did. And now they don't have to overpay to convince people anymore. Artists are gonna come here no matter what. They have to. The industry runs through Spotify. Their subscribers have multiplied to unfathomable numbers, while the cost of that subscription has increased every 14 months like clockwork. And yet, individual streams for independent musicians have never been worth less. And now we're at the inevitable part of every tech endeavor's life cycle where the priority moves from gaining market share to strictly profitability at all costs. So they will continue to cut corners and underpay for content and inshitify their product, hoping you're too loyal to take your business somewhere else. Meanwhile, their CEO, who is richer than any musician in the history of the world, has used that fortune to invest over $500 million into a company that makes strike drones for the military. In a world full of terrible corporations run by awful people, Spotify seems determined to vault themselves up to the top of that list.
That's crazy.
And yet, when it comes to music, they're still not even the biggest source of evil. Historically, music has always been a top-heavy, exploitative industry. Young artists would get signed to aggressively long contracts that they didn't fully understand
360
until years
deals
later when it was too late because they were trapped in it. In the 1990s, Prince went through a years-long public dispute with Warner Brothers over creative and monetary disagreement. It got so bad that in protest, he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. The label tried to use his publicity stunts to frame him as this like spoiled, crazy diva, but he was just fighting to be paid what he was worth. Sure, he was making a lot of money, but it still paled in comparison to what Warner was profiting off the back of his labor. When he was finally able to get out of that deal and self-fund and self-promote his own work, he proved that he had been getting screwed over because he made infinitely more money even on tours and albums that were less commercially successful. In 2007, after their record label was unwilling to renegotiate with them, Radiohead put out their In Rainbows album online using a pay whatever you want model, even if the amount that you wanted to pay was $0. And yet, they made more money distributing it this way than they had from all of their previous records combined. But it does beg the question, what the hell kind of deals were these guys signed to where they could sell millions and millions of albums and barely see any money from it? Well, for starters, it wasn't uncommon for artists to be owed a single-digit percentage of the revenue made from their work. Not that they owe 5% of it, right? That's how much they get to keep. Even on the high end, that number tends to be about 15. When you first sign that deal though, you're not worried about that because the label is gonna lure you in with a number that blows your mind at a time in your life when you're probably broke. So when they offer you an advance of say $250,000, you're gonna say, do you have a pen? Where can I sign? And you're made aware that that money isn't actually yours to keep, that it's just a loan that you have to pay back, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, you'll figure all that out later. For now, what matters is you're confident in yourself and that number represents legitimacy. You made it. You are a professional musician now. So you go and record the album while renting a lifestyle that you're not yet able to afford. And if you're lucky, that album does well. Really well, actually. You sold 500,000 copies. Sheesh. Your music has already generated $5 million. Great, I'll take my 15%, I'll deduct the advance, and I got a pretty sweet payday for myself. Well, not so fast there, Rockstar. We're not done subtracting. The advance wasn't the only loan. Every single resource we provided to you needs to be paid for as well. The deal was you you had access to them, not that you get them for free. So we're just gonna make a few small adjustments, and before you know it, you somehow owe more debt than the amount we loaned you to start with. With each subsequent album, you only fall deeper and deeper into financial ruin. And you're one of the successful ones. But as bad as this is on paper, it's usually even worse in practice. Because oftentimes, the other companies that you as an artist are forced to do business with are also owned by the record label. So per the contract, we're able to deduct certain production costs before we calculate the amount that you are owed. Well, the thing is, we actually own the factory that produces all your CDs. And so the price for that is, how do I put this? Whatever we want it to be. We can say a bunch of them broke, we can print and sell records we never even tell you about. Dude, we can pull numbers out of our ass. The more money you earn, the more deductions we'll come up with to offset. And this process is never an accident. It's very much part of the business model. For example, back in the 40s and 50s, vinyl records were pretty...
This is a great video, but it is very bleak. It's like sad, bro. I knew most of this, but like when you hear it laid out, it's like, fuck, bro. It is so fucked. It's so fucked.
Fragile, which made them susceptible to breaking or scratching in transit. So to account for this, there would generally be a flat, like...
It's like Hollywood accounting in the theater. I mean, it's like, I guess one aspect of it is, you know, people are like, oh, streaming and AI are fucking over artists. But in a weird way, it's like, no, they've always been getting fucked over. It's like you can, no matter where you go, they're getting fucked over, bro. They're getting
15%
until they get big enough. When you get big enough, you have enough leverage to get out of it. Not just the Prince example. It's just like the little guys, just the little guys. The little to medium-sized guys are always getting fucked over.
Reduction in revenue owed to the artist. Now, if common sense were to be applied, you would think that as the industry moved away from vinyls and into nearly indestructible CDs and cassettes, that this charge would go away. It did not. Even into the digital era, where we're talking about MP3 files, many of those breakage fees were still incorporated. It is total nonsense. It is highway robbery. An accounting firm that was referenced in this book.
No, sometimes MP3s can break. That's why you owe us a few million in deduction. It happened. They break, dude. What are you gonna
who was responsible for thousands of audits regarding hundreds of millions of dollars in royalties, could recall only one time ever where the audit revealed that it was the artist who owed money to the label. I can't believe they just kept making the same error over and over again, and it always worked out in favor of the labels. That's crazy. There's so many coincidences in the music industry. But we're still not done, because even then, they're not just gonna give you that money back. They're gonna look you in the eyes and say, what are you gonna do about it? Sure, if you're successful enough, you could try to take on a lawsuit and fight a battle that, best case scenario, could earn you a decent settlement, but most likely you're not gonna wanna do that, because they have all the resources in the world to out-lawyer you and waste all your money until there's none of it left. So they'll offer a fraction of what they owe you and hope that it makes you stop whining. But be careful, you might...
Also, they have connections to like all the venues and promotional material and radio, especially back in the day, radio. And so you can get blackballed from the industry and lose your, it's just like, you get blacklisted.
Might have pissed them off. They might be holding a grudge against you. That next album that you owe us, you still have to record it. You still have to pay us for it, but we're not gonna put it out. I hope you enjoyed making music while it lasted, because that's over now. This is the kind of exploitation that happens when power gets consolidated at the top. When the labels that you can't live without control every part of the machine that you are forced to use.
Artists generate so much money for so many people that have nothing to do with the creative process at all. There's no road you can go down that the artist isn't fucked.
But things started to change pretty drastically in the 2000s. The rise of the internet brings on Napster and eventually LimeWire. For the first time in decades, overall music revenue is declining. But remember, most of that money was going to record labels. So they were also the ones losing the most of it.
You see, I'm not a Napster fan. It seems to me like people are getting ripped off.
It's interesting because the artists don't get paid anyway.
Piracy may have been bad for the music industry, but in a way, it might have ultimately been a good thing for musicians, because it caused a long overdue disruption. It took power out of the hands of people who'd been abusing it. Then social media starts to take over. Suddenly fans can talk directly to their fans on MySpace. They can post about their shows on Facebook. The labels are now losing their status as the gatekeepers. Many of the marketing tools they offered, the things that they were able to justify taking 99% of your money for, were kind of becoming obsolete. Fast forward to today, anyone can upload upload music to a streaming service. Anyone can build a fan base. And in fact, a label won't even think about signing you unless you've already built a pretty big following online. But then at that point, it's like, what do you even need them
What do they need them
You've
for?
done the hard part.
So we were talking, that was the idea of like off-brand games. It's like the idea of like, what do these game publishers actually do when you look at it? Some of them help with some things, but most game publishers, if they can't get like streamers to play your games or get like marketing, what are they doing? Most of them are like, yeah, we help sign you up for Steam. Like we tweet about it or whatever. It's crazy. They have no value. Like most middlemen in a post-digital era are just making it up. They don't do anything. They just take a big cut. Or they have money, and you might need money for development. That's true. They might give you development money. But even that, it's like, okay, if you give some cash up front for development, how much of the final profits do you really feel entitled to? Enough to get your money back, sure, but I don't know. It's just crazy. It depends on how much you put up, I guess. Why did off-brand games fail? No, off-brand failed. Off-brand games are still going on. They've had some hits. I think off-brand games' biggest hit was Rivals of Aether 2, which like I think would not have had the launch it did if it wasn't for Ludwig's promotion. I think he really helped get that game promoted, and it's done quite well. So I'm not financially invested. That's an example. And then Demon Bluff, they found the partnership with Northern Lion, who I think is going to be really helpful for the game. I don't think they've all been hits, but that's the idea.
Probably just going to swoop in, take as much of your money as they can, and then drop you as soon as your fans move on to someone else. So then the question is, how are they still able to get away with it? I thought we democratized the music industry. How do the labels still have so much power? Well,
What did Librarian say? I mentioned Northern Lion for 1 second. Did Librarian say something? Shut up, bro. Bro, you spawn in like it's insane. You're a sleeper cell. It's crazy. We're like 45 minutes into a Drew Gooden video, and I said Northern Lion for 1 second. How are you everywhere? It's fucking mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, bro.
This is where record labels and Spotify intersect. Now, when you talk about record labels, there's a whole bunch of them, but there's really only 3 conglomerates that matter. Sony, Universal, and Warner, sometimes referred to as the majors or the big 3. Thanks to their obsession with gobbling up every single thing they come into contact with, they now own about 70% of all recorded music in history. I cannot emphasize enough that anybody who tried to do what Spotify did, which was to put every song ever made in one place for a small monthly fee, couldn't have made it even 1 inch without bending over backwards for the record labels. It doesn't matter how good their user interface or algorithm is if they didn't have the music that people want to listen to. So the majors have always had extraordinary leverage over them, and they've maximized the hell out of it. They negotiated massive advances from Spotify with no guarantee that any of that money would trickle down to their artists. They got a bunch of free ad space that they would typically just sell with no guarantee that any of that money would trickle down to their artists. And they also received a significant amount of equity in Spotify, about 18% total. I think maybe the most insane detail I learned about while making this video happened in 2018. At the time, Spotify is quickly becoming the industry standard. Their user base is growing every year, the company's getting bigger, but they want to open up the floor to more investors, so they're ready to launch their IPO. But around the same time, their licensing agreement with the big 3 labels was about to expire. Oh my God, talk about leverage. The labels had Spotify by the balls. They could have renegotiated just about anything, because if they didn't like the terms, they could have just taken all their artists off of the platform right before they go public, and it would have completely destroyed them, because who's gonna invest in a music company that doesn't have any music on it? So what did the majors do with all this power? Well, they negotiated their rates down.
What?
They asked for less money. Why would they do that, you're asking? Are they stupid? Well, we need to refer back to that pie chart from earlier.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when fucking Bobby Kotick, CEO of Blizzard, spent $100 million, but no, more than that, spent hundreds of millions of dollars in Overwatch League. He got all the teams to buy in at $20 to $30 million valuation. And then right before it's about to launch, he comes to Twitch and he's like, hey, if you don't pay us money, we won't let you broadcast Overwatch League on Twitch. And like, if Twitch thought about it for even 1 second, they would go, wait, we have all the leverage. You need viewers badly. Nobody's watching. This is before YouTube Live. This is before anything else. Like, there's nowhere else you could go. Like, if you don't put it on our platform, no one will watch your fucking Overwatch League. But instead, Twitch panicked. They freaked out and they paid $100 million for this guy's stupid fucking bluff to get the rights to Overwatch League. It was the dumbest fucking most own goal. God, it was so stupid. Like, just think about it for 1 second. Anyone within Twitch who actually used the platform was screaming. It's like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why do we care? He's the one that's desperate. He's desperate, not us. But like the executives were so stupid, bro. It's crazy.
No, most of these royalties end up going to record labels. Some of them end up in the disgusting hands of independent artists. And we hate them. Their greed is ruining an otherwise perfect business model. But then even the money that does go to the record labels has to be shared with all of our stupid artists. And we hate them just as much. Sure, we've already made it so it's as small of a percentage as it could possibly be, but it's still not nothing. We'd prefer if it was nothing. If only we could leverage their work to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars without having to owe them a cent. Well, here's where that equity comes in. When they lowered artist royalty rates, Spotify became a more valuable company. This meant their stock price went up and the majors could cash out for more. They figured out how to get paid anyway, but with money that their artists have no contractual claim to. But that wasn't the only benefit for record labels, because they also have something in their contract with Spotify called the Most Favored Nation Clause. And what that means is that nobody else outside of the big three is allowed to negotiate higher rates with Spotify. So when they lowered the rate for their artists, they in turn also lowered it for everybody else. Even if you don't work with a label, they will still find ways to screw you out of money. Now, unfortunately, record companies hoarding the majority of the money their artists earn for them is nothing new. It's been a staple of the industry for at least the past century. But the good news is live music is thriving, ticket sales are high, and musicians of all sizes are being fairly compensated. At least...
I mean, he's going to say no, but it's like, this is where having one or two fucking companies that own all the fucking live venues in America. Ticketmaster, Live Nation. Yeah, it's fucked. It's monopolies, bro. It's literally why I'm so pro antitrust and Lena Khan. When it consolidates in one or two hands, they can just fucking payola it. Some version of payola. They can inshitify it. If you can't go elsewhere, they can inshitify it. And they will always make it shittier unless you can go elsewhere. You have to have a competition. There has to be. Ideally a lot. Like 10 options. Then they actually try to make it better. It does work. They actually try to make it better. But only insofar as they have competition. The second it's gone, they will inshitify it. It's the fucking scorpion and the frog. They will fucking sting you every time.
According to an article I just read from
March
March 9th, 2020. Wait, let me make sure nothing drastic has changed since then. If the record industry is a story of three companies owning all of the music, then the live event industry is a story of one company controlling the entire mechanism by which concerts operate. Since merging in 2010, Ticketmaster and Live Nation have bulldozed their way into a monopoly that controls every part of the transaction. Not only do they own most of the biggest venues, but they've made it so the only way you can buy tickets to those venues is through them. And now that you have no other choice, we can charge all kinds of exorbitant fees. Service fees, processing fees, convenience fees. Come on, guys.
Fees.
Isn't this convenient? And the monopoly goes in every direction, since most artists are forced to work with them as well.
If they want to take 10% of the revenues and call it a facility fee, they can and have. If they want to charge $30,000 for the house nut, they can and have.
Some good news, the government sued Live Nation back in 2024, a lawsuit that recently reached a settlement. One of their processing fees, which was revealed to be pure profit and didn't actually cover any costs, is now illegal. The bad news, they just moved it over to a service fee instead. At least with streaming services, you can say that the customer is getting a good value. $12 a month for 1 trillion songs, and I can listen to the Hours of Silence podcast. The prices aren't the problem. It's just what happens to that money later. But with live music, Ticketmaster's monopoly only drives prices higher and higher and higher. Couple that with a rapidly worsening economy for the average person, and attendance rates are going way down. Some huge artists with massive streaming numbers have had to cancel entire tours because not enough of their...
Damn, that's not pre-wild. That's just crazy. I just called that on the dot. Yeah, you just read all the
tickets
news,
were selling.
bro.
And yet, if you ask Live Nation CEO, he'll say they're still not expensive enough.
Average concert price is $72. The concert is under.
Who the fuck is Blue Dot Fever? No, it's not an artist. They call it. We did it on Lemonade Stand. That's why I'm telling you about it. Blue Dot Fever is, you know how when you're on like Ticketmaster or you're like looking for seats, they have blue dots when they're unsold. So many of these big venues are just awash with blue dots because they're all unsold. So artists are canceling and saying they're sick or whatever, but everyone's saying it's Blue Dot Fever because you can't fill the venue. But I mean, the reason they can't fill the venue is because the prices are so damn high. But yeah, like every person is covering it.
Priced. It's like a badge of honor to spend 70 grand for a Knicks courtside. They beat me up if we charge $800 for Beyonce.
One of the biggest causes of price gouging is the resale market. Now, an artist might try to set a maximum ticket price on one of their tours because they want as many of their fans as possible to be able to afford it. But unless they have enough negotiating power, there's nothing stopping the secondary ticket market from swooping in and ruining it for everybody else. A 2016 law called the Bots Act was supposed to make it illegal for scalpers to use certain technology to buy large quantities of tickets and resell it all for a profit, but Ticketmaster could not give less of a fuck about that. When a ticket gets resold through their website, they get to collect service fees on it twice. One, when the scalper first bought it from them, and then an even bigger fee when they resell it for a higher price. The resale market is a huge factor for why tickets have ended up so expensive. But it's important to remember that any of that profit from a resale doesn't make its way back to the artist. To them, the transaction ended when the first sale was made. So even though they tried to make the ticket more affordable, their fans still had to pay twice as much anyway. Only that entire profit ends up in the hands of Ticketmaster and the person or company who resold it. Which sometimes is also Ticketmaster. The artists lose, the fans lose, but the giant company wins again. Now, these had all been growing problems for years, but where shit really hit the fan was during COVID. The industry got decimated, especially for smaller venues and musicians. But many of the ones that did survive have seen their profits drop to an almost unsustainable level. I wanted to ask some touring musicians about the business side of things, so I drove up to Gainesville, Florida to talk to my friends Sergio and Andrew, who at the time of recording were about halfway through their tour with the band Dance Gavin Dance.
Let's break down like a tour. We do 2 buses, 1 bus for the band and 1 bus for the crew. And then we have a semi because we have production, lighting, and all of our sound gear, all of our in-ear monitors, and then all of our backlights, so our amp. So when you do all of that, now you've got probably $300,000+ right out the gate for a month plus long tour for just transportation. That doesn't cover gas, which is higher than ever.
Let's say, you know, a fan spends, just for math's sake, $100 on a ticket. That's a lot.
He looks so young right here in this shot, but he's not, right? He's like 30 something. Compared to them in this room, he looks like a kid like doing a high school newspaper report.
For a fan to spend, but you take all these costs away, and all of a sudden the amount of that's actually going to the band, what percentage goes to everyone who reaches their hands in?
Management agent, just on our team's side of things, 30% already gone. Your Live Nation, your extra fees, things like that, that's usually an extra 10%, sometimes 15, in some cases 20. The abstracts would be your expenses. It's usually about 50%, sometimes more on bigger tours. That leaves maybe $10 to $20 out of that ticket that goes to the band, and then that would be split 4 ways. So let's say it's 20. If there's 4 members of your band, you're each getting $5.
Now, Dance Gavin Dance is doing well for themselves. They're one of the bigger touring bands out there right now. But by extrapolating this cost structure out to most bands that are a fraction of their size, you can see how it's becoming increasingly difficult to turn a profit from touring. And that's kind of a problem, because historically speaking, that's where most of their money is supposed to come from. I'm nervous for the future of the industry for the same reason that I'm hopeful about it. People are always going to make music no matter what. It's an intrinsic part of our lives. It's one of humanity's oldest art forms. Most musicians would make music for free. They would do it even if they lost money. It just sucks that a lot of people know that, and so they seem determined to make sure that they do. I think the best way to support music...
It's like people that like coding video games have just been getting underpaid for years and years and years because the industry knows they like to do it and they want to work in that industry, and they could get higher paying jobs anywhere else in tech, but they just underpay them and overwork them because the passion tax. Yeah, Blizzard's hugely guilty of this.
Musicians, especially if they're independent, is to try to buy directly from them. Bandcamp is a great way to do this. Your money's gonna go a lot further there than it is on streaming services. But also physical versions of music, CDs, vinyls. I love collecting vinyls. I've been doing it since before I even had a record player. Nobody wants to sell you objects anymore. They just want you to sign up for a cloud subscription service. But I like owning physical objects that I can touch and look at.
I mean, vinyl's back. Vinyl had its most sales in like 30 years this last year. Zoomers buy vinyl like crazy. They don't actually listen to it, or I guess most of them don't. They don't like put it on a record player. Some of them do, but they just like owning it. It's just like they want to own something. They stream the music, but then they own the vinyl.
And that represent a piece of art that I love. The fact that I can also listen to it is kind of just a bonus. Streaming can be great for music discovery. I mean, sometimes it's nice to just have a machine play a bunch of songs until they find one that you like. I canceled my Spotify a couple years ago, but I still use YouTube Music because it's included in premium and I was already paying for that anyway. And I found a lot of cool bands from it. It's a useful service. But I also don't want to take it for granted, you know? Just because it was easy for me to discover an album doesn't mean it was easy for them to make it. If someone's music adds value to my life, I want to try to give some of that back. And I don't think the 2 cents they're getting for my subscription revenue is going to cut it. Now, what I wanted to do for this video was secretly put out some of my own music and document the journey of trying to be an independent musician in 2026. But obviously, music takes a lot of time. You got to learn an instrument, you got to write something, you got to learn how to record it, you got to put it out, you got to figure out what the hell DistroKid is. It's not the kind of thing you can just pull out of your ass in a couple of months, you know? So I decided that if I was going to do it, I should probably start 4 years ago. In 2022, my friends CJ and Julian asked me if I wanted to go jam with them in a U-Haul storage unit. And I said, sure, why not? Even though I knew why not, because the thought of playing guitar in front of other people made me want to shit my pants. But I also knew that sometimes the only way to grow as a person is to do stuff that scares you. I wish it wasn't. I wish you could grow just by playing on the computer. But pretty soon we started practicing once a week and then twice a week. Then our friend Kevin joined the band, which meant that Julian and I could both play guitar instead of taking turns pretending to know how to play bass. At that point, we had already written a bunch of songs, so we decided it was time to play them in public.
Made me want to shit my pants.
The first show we ever did was an open mic at a kava bar where for some reason I wore the shortest shorts that I own. Our next show was at another kava bar where we were way too loud, and then we played a hardcore show where we were way too quiet. This show was a nightmare for me. Nobody liked our music. I said thank you like 100 times, and during the last song, which was supposed to be like our big heavy closer, I was getting so much feedback from my amp that I had to turn off my distortion pedal, and then no one could hear me. And since our music is instrumental, it's kind of important that people can hear the instrument. I left that show questioning my entire existence. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should just give up. And then our next show was the best one so far. We did a couple more shows here and there, but then we took a break to focus on our real goal, which was to make an album. We had the space to record it. We had started buying the equipment. Kevin was learning FL Studio. We had a bunch of songs. So instead of just dropping like 1 or 2 singles and moving on, we decided we're not gonna put anything out until we finish an entire album. Plus, how long could it take, right? 3 months? 6 months? 2 years! Turns out when you're 4 adult men with 4 adult jobs, 3 if you don't count YouTubers, there are only so many hours a week you have to devote to your instrumental emo band. So finally, after months of staring at the back of Kevin's head, we exported the album. We hired our friend Alexa to do the artwork. The only direction I gave her for this was like, I don't know, maybe something with a bird on it. And then she hand painted this beautiful masterpiece.
That's awesome.
It's actually too good. It's better than our music is. For real though, we're all extremely proud of this.
I mean, but I feel like he did 99% of the work with excellent direction. Like he said there should be a bird on it. And so if there was a profit split on this art, I feel like it should mostly go to him. Maybe 95%. But obviously, he prompted it. You know what I'm saying? So.
The work that went into it. And we'd love it if you gave it a listen. It's like half the length of this video, so you can't tell me that you don't have time. You could have listened to it twice already instead of watching this crap. Actually, for all I know, you could have already listened to it. We put it out back in March of last year. So here's what the past 15 months has been like. At first, things were better than I expected. We had a couple of the YouTube videos get like 100 views right away. One of the most gratifying moments of this entire process was getting like 3 comments from people saying, I don't know how I got here, but this is really good. At one point I saw that somebody Shazammed one of our songs and we talked about it for a week. So everything was going pretty good. And then like a month later, it completely stopped. Turns out it doesn't matter how much time and effort and money you put into music. If you throw it up on streaming services and don't tell anyone about it, it's probably just gonna disappear into the void. There were weeks where I'd get an email from Apple that were like, hey, just letting you know, nobody listened to your music this week.
That's crazy.
Keep up the good work. It really does feel like we put a drop of water into the middle of the ocean and we're just waiting for people to find it. I guess it also probably doesn't help that our band name has
Dude, it's like when you hear about, and this is no disrespect because it's their fucking dream, and but there's so many like games uploaded every day, and you hear about people that are like, this is my indie game, I worked 8 years on it, and then you upload it, and it's like, that's one of 30,000 games uploaded today. You didn't think about marketing at all, and it's like, oh well, bro, that's just how it goes. Like you have so much attached to it because it's your baby, but there's so much content now. It's the crazy part of the fucking internet and how easy the distribution or the creation tools are.
SEO, because it's a word that already exists, but that we purposely spelled wrong. On some platforms, you can't.
Yeah, it's kind of like YouTube. I would say YouTube more than any other platform. I'm not really crediting YouTube. Fuck YouTube. I'm just going to tell them, like, compared to any other platform, YouTube's algorithm is freakishly good at surfacing shit that gets watch time. It's like freakishly good. Streaming is nothing like that. Streaming is a dog shit industry for discoverability. But if you have a 1 subscriber YouTube channel and you make an actually good video that has good watch time, it's like freakishly good at getting that to people's eyes. I don't know if they'll keep it. I'm sure they'll unshitify it. But right now, of all the platforms where you can get discoverability, and I think AI is sort of ruining it already, but YouTube was the best.
Find it even if you're going out of your way to. But a couple months ago, I decided that it was time to lock in and that I would earnestly navigate some of the artist engagement tools the internet shoves in your face. I had started using the band's Instagram page more to post about shows and connect with some other bands, and I could tell that already Meta had all of the information they needed to categorize me into what I can only assume they call their desperate artist program. Because suddenly every single ad I got was about posting banner ads on Spotify or having a website analyze my songs so they could pitch them to playlists. Oh my God, this interface is so predatory. They are doing everything they can to convince you that they're on your side. What do we get out of this? Nothing, man. We just want to help a brother out.
The analyzer?
Now, if you wouldn't mind giving us $40.
You got to pay a fucking starter package so they can analyze your song with some fucking thing and then tell you why it doesn't have hits on. That's so fucked. That's so crazy.
And what the fuck is this? Your analysis is expiring in 10 minutes? How? What, are you gonna forget? My trepidation turned to joy, though, when they told me that my sophisticated arrangement makes me stand out from amateur producers.
So lame.
Wow. I'm flattered. They also told me I had a 74 hit potential. I had no idea. Who was going to tell me I was sitting on top of a gold mine? Out of curiosity, I tried another one of my songs. It's called Golden, and I wrote it for the Netflix original movie K-Pop Demon Hunters. And oh my God, the craziest thing happened. They told me almost the exact same shit, except they only gave this song a 72. That's right. My instrumental guitar band has more commercial potential than the 7th most popular song of 2025. Well, I guess that confirms it.
This is just a banger video, bro. Drew Gooden, you've done it again. It's a heater on every front.
They're just lying to me to try and get my money. Or they're telling the truth, and I'm gonna perform at the Grammys. Better get my credit card out just in case. Before I fully give up on this,
they don't call him Drew Badden, is all I'm gonna say.
This website, though, I do want to try one more track. It's kind of niche, it's a little vulnerable, but I'm just curious to see if maybe somewhere out there there's an audience for it. It's called 1,000 Farts, and it's an hour long. And would you look at that? This one has the highest score so far. This could very well become the most popular song ever made. The more I engage with these ads, the more it
Oh, that could be right, though. The way society is going, bro, Idiocracy style, I think 1,000 farts might hit. That goes on TikTok. Kids love it. That shit might pop. You might hear that all over. You put that in the right movie trailer.
Firm that I was interested, and then any future ads I got seemed like they weren't even really trying that hard. Yeah, we actually don't know anything about your song, but just give us $100. Come on, what's the worst that could happen? You die? I don't think that could happen from this. So just give us $100. I swear on my life, I will try my absolute hardest to get you on Top White Girl Music 2026 Songs to Sing Along, Best Song to Listen to at Parties. And if that doesn't work, we could always try one called The Best Songs Ever. Sure, that seems like a realistic place to start. The sheer flood of similar websites honestly made me distrustful of this entire cottage industry as a whole. But for the video, I wanted to try at least one of them. So I ran a campaign on SubmitHub. Now, I have no idea if this is any more legit than these other websites, but at the very least, I think it's been around the longest. But just like the ones from the ads, immediately asking for $100. This time, though, I paid it. And then for the next several days, I physically winced every time I opened my email to see a roundup of the process so far. Rejection after rejection after rejection. Everyone generally had nice things to say. Hey man, this sounds great. You guys should be proud of this. I'd fucking kill myself before putting it on any of my playlists, but good luck. I'll give SubmitHub a little bit of credit for at least being transparent. You can see exactly how the curators listen to your song. The problem though is that in some cases, how they listened to it was...
Dude, that's crazy. They just click around for 2 seconds. They make some cut of your $100 and then they send you an AI generated response saying, that was great, but that's crazy.
Barely at all. I also realized in hindsight that I probably shouldn't have...
XQC's review of Kendrick's album. You remember that? He was opening up Kendrick's songs, click, 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 boring. He listened for like 2 seconds. He listened to 5 tracks of like 13, and in the 5 tracks, he listened to 10 seconds combined. And he's like, it was godlike.
Let them auto-pick the curators after guessing my genre. And I should have tried to find playlists with music that sounds similar to me and then manually targeted those. But at the same time, the one playlist I feel like we probably had the best chance of getting on didn't even listen to half the song or give any feedback. And this cost me money. I had to pay this person. The low point of this process for me was when SubmitHub emailed me an AI summary of all my rejections. I also could have just copied and pasted them all into Grok, but thanks for doing it for me, I guess. Not really sure what I'm supposed to do with this. None of these people wanted our song. What, am I gonna frame this on my wall? Yes. For a little over $105, I ran a couple of decent meta ads, received entrance into one playlist that will, at best, net us a handful of streams, and I got a ChatGPT summary of everything I'm doing wrong. Now, I'm not saying that my bad experience should discount all of these services entirely.
Yeah,
obviously, it works
them
for some people, some of the time. But it sure seems like this is just yet another opportunity for one more pair of grabby hands to lunge towards your pockets as you try desperately to make waves in an endless ocean of content. The more oversaturated music gets, the more common these kinds of websites will become, and the more people who will try to profit off your optimism before it runs out. Getting anybody to give a shit about our music felt impossible.
So
but
bleak.
At the same time, it didn't really bother me that much because we didn't make this music with the hopes that it would like go viral.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he says this part because like if you're making music, you should absolutely make it for the joy of making it with people you like and for the whatever small audience that like it. Like the idea of like making it to be successful is going to literally melt your brain and make you angry and you will get exploited.
Viral. We made it because we wanted to. We wrote the exact kind of music that we like to listen to. This album.
Yeah, these services exist for game devs too. Anybody who's got a passion project, there's somebody that will try to sell you on how you can get in the door, how they can It's
only exists because we made it exist, and no amount of rejection emails will ever take that away from us. A lot has changed for us the past year. Julian left the band, and we've had to kind of reconfigure as a three-piece, but we're still writing a lot of music, and we still play shows every so often. If you want to see more of what we end up doing, follow us on Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel that I'm going to post some playthroughs on, and I'll probably throw some other random shit out there too, so subscribe if that's something you're interested in. I do have to mention, though, the incident. On May 27th, we played a show at Will's Pub. We were opening for a really cool band, I Met a Yeti. It was an awesome night. Everyone had a great time. But somebody took a video of it and put it on TikTok, and now everybody knows my secret. I cannot believe that I successfully hid this from the world for 4 years, and then like 2 weeks before I plan on making a video about it, someone else beat me to the punch. Not cool, bro. But I guess it just goes to show that everything I said in this video was a total fucking lie. Music's easy. What are you guys whining about? All you have to do is be a YouTuber for 9 years, but don't make any music. Not yet. Once you've given it at least 5 years, you can start a band with your friends, but don't tell.
My rap career is going to be massive. I've built up to this. All this big A shit has been building up to my little A. I'm going to get a fucking weed tattoo right here. I'm going to get fucking rainbow dyed hair. And I'm going to start fucking making some real melodic rap. Okay? A teardrop tattoo.
Tell anybody about it. It needs to be a surprise. Without the surprise, this doesn't work.
They call me the White Kendrick. Okay?
Chipping away at it in the background.
They call me the White Drake, but no Josh.
Unbelievable amount of time and money on it. Record an album, release the album, make $18 from it each, and wait an entire
That's
year.
one of my bars.
Only then can you play a show at a local bar in Orlando, have it recorded by a random stranger who uploads it to TikTok, where it goes
White
medium
Drake, but I
viral
ain't
for a couple
joshing.
of days.
Holy shit.
Probably less so because people like the music, and more so just because it's kind of interesting you're even doing it at all. And that was my master plan. It may have taken me almost a decade, but it was all worth it when I saw our monthly listeners on Spotify go from a measly 109 all the way up to 100 and
holy shit.
Wait, is that it?
You might never upload again.
That video got like 1 million views. Even in just the past 4 years since we started dicking around in that storage unit, I feel like I've already seen corporate greed price out so many artists from the industry and so many fans from being able to participate in it. But I also realized that there's a thriving local scene that I had no idea about until I started going to shows and meeting all these really cool musicians, a lot of whom are now my friends. Maybe it's not always realistic to spend $300 on nosebleed tickets at a sold-out arena. But who knows? There might be a free show happening right now at a non-profit venue inside a bowling alley. Your new favorite band might be performing at a bar 2 miles from your house.
Music is worth making. And if you feel the need and you feel the burning passion to want to make music or art or in general, do it.
Recruit your friends. Get out and meet people. You might not be able to film your own music video, but your friend has a camera and has a film experience and wants to get involved in a project. Develop your friends. Develop each other. Like, get into a scene of people and build those relationships up from the ground up. And I think beautiful things can come of that.
And now it's Turks versus Spanish.
And learning something.
I'm not watching this. I don't need this anymore, Hera. Thank you. I don't need any more Turks versus Spanish practice. That was a good video. That was a really good video. Drew Gooden, you've done it. You've done it again. Very interesting. I do feel, I don't know, on some level, I feel like it's changing. Like as the prices of tickets, for example, for live shows get so bad, the Blue Dot Fever is an example of people just realizing they're not going to pay that. That's what breaks it, right? You try to inshitify and raise the price. People just eventually, there's like an inertia where everyone's like, oh, I'll pay this fee. I'll pay this fee. I'm mad, but I'll pay it. But eventually they change their buying habits. They do something else. And they don't pay for it, and then the whole thing collapses. Like, it just breaks. One Smallville app for old time's sake. It's 9 p.m. I think I'm gonna go. Do you think movies are definitely culturally relevant? Obsession, bro. Backrooms. If anything, Gen Z is like resurgence to movies. They're making a comeback. The letterbox generation. Yeah, Project Hail Mary. No, and you know, it's like this weird cultural status symbol among certain parts of Gen Z to have a AMC A-list rewards membership or like a Stubs account. Like it's like it's like a cool thing to have. They're buying it on a higher level. It's wild. That's totally a thing. No, I know, dude. My best friend who doesn't even watch movies that much got an AMC A-list. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's a weird thing. They've marketed it in the right way, and it's like taking off. It's weird. Okay, guys. I'm gonna end stream now. It was a very fun stream with you. Thank you for watching with me today. 07s. I am working on a presentation for Monday. I'd like to do an official marketing Monday on Monday. And we're going to watch after that a incredible community created video called Class Clown, which is like a game show type thing. And so that's the plan for Monday. So I need a little bit time tonight and tomorrow to work on that to hopefully finish it, because it's actually a bigger project and I did the Ukraine thing today instead. So 7. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you sincerely. I appreciate if you watch the content and enjoy it. I do. I don't say it often enough. Okay. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for watching any of the YouTube videos. Thank you for not giving me too much shit for not playing Age of Empires today, which I feel bad about. But shout out to Hera. All right, 7s. Thank you. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. See you on Monday, not tomorrow. I will not be live tomorrow, but I will be live on Monday. Bye. Who should we raid? We could raid somebody. Let's raid a little someone called, how about Shindigs? He's probably doing something fun. Shindigs, my good friend. He's always innovating new VTuber stuff. Give Shindigs some love. And if Shindigs ends, maybe you guys can go to Blur, who's playing Slay Spire. All right, goodbye.